Sports Marketing Presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-976.
Make a mic saw it.
And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Good Thursday to you out here at Deer Valley, Twin Peaks. Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B. Jax, Connor back at the ESPN 620 headquarters next to the flagship 98.7. As we are here till 4 o'clock. And as we are in March, no one works as this place is packed on a Thursday.
Getting ready for the NCAA's, Rod.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we will catch up with Andrew Carter. He is with UNC. He's the UNC beat writer, I should say, for the Raleigh News and Observer. So we will talk to him about this weekend between Duke and North Carolina. And we will also get his thoughts on the tank wars with the Sixers and Spurs, the race for Cooper Flag. So get his thoughts on that as well, because that is going to start getting a little heavy here. Be kind of nice to see if the Suns were in that mix. I think Cooper would be Flag would be a pretty interesting.
What a welcome addition.
Yes,
to the Phoenix Suns.
I'll tell you another team as well. Watch the Dallas Mavericks start to tank.
It's a good call there. Guys are hurt.
Yep.
You shut down Davis down or not.
Yep.
Likely, probably not, unlikely to come back.
Unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else. That kid, you watch that kid, you go, for a freshman, the things he does with the ball, without the ball.
He's NBA ready right now.
Freshman of the year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what else we got going on today? Our guys here didn't put anything in here for what to talk about this segment. So this is an open segment.
Okay.
So we will have our picks. We'll have Rick Horo. We'll have Rick Neuheisel. Those are guys that are going to join us. As I mentioned, we're out here at Twin Peaks. We are excited to announce that we officially brought on Bud Light and Neutral as our partners for our fan pick'em for a big bracket contest for $100,000. So we'll have that for you. As well, excuse me, $10,000. $10,000. So, well, I'll take 10. So we'll have that for our March Fever bracket contest. So pretty excited about getting that thing rolling.
I think the biggest thing is the Colin Gillespie way of life for the Suns. You talk about the Suns, should they tank or not tank? No, hell no. They're fighting for their life to try to get into the play-in. And if KD can stay fired up like he did in this last game, and if you're embarrassed, play like you're embarrassed. Have Gillespie come in. Tyus Jones, I think that you pretty much continue to use him unless he falters. But I got to tell you what, Gillespie, the shot around the world. I get it. I understand.
I know.
Get it.
I'm the same way.
It's so funny how it's doomsday for the Phoenix Suns.
Yes.
And then they win one game.
Yes.
They win one game, and then everybody thinks everything is okay. Then they think everything's okay. And it's like, come on.
They're going to play in Denver.
Nobody even knew who he was until that game.
Well, I did.
Kind of
sort
of.
I'm the only guy. I know you are. They're going to play in Denver tomorrow night. Denver right now is in a dogfight for the second spot in the NBA West with the LA Lakers, who, by the way, host the Knicks tonight.
By the way, what a great story the Lakers are right now.
They are sensational.
You get, Brian Windhorst talked about this morning with LeBron James. He's the player of the month of February.
At 40.
He hasn't had that moniker in 5 years.
That's incredible.
If you really put that in perspective. Here he is. He gets his playing mate, Luka, and he is the player of the month for February.
And they have connected.
They may come out of the West.
Yeah.
I still really like Golden State, though.
After what I saw that they did against the Knicks, look, we talk about LeBron, and he is just spectacular at 40 years of age. But then you take a look at Steph Curry. And Steph is 35-ish, and he has not changed his game at all.
Just a tad.
He is on the court all the time, and when he is on the court, he is perpetual motion, never stops. So he drags your defender all around in circles, runs them off screens, gets open, hit shot after shot after shot, and he had a big game against the Knicks in New York just the other
Jimmy
night.
Buckets has helped that as well.
Well,
too.
I agree with
But
that.
they've gone from 9th to currently 6th, that being Golden
Yep.
State. They've climbed 3 spots since they got Jimmy Buckets into the fold to help free up Steph. And on top of that, Lakers have gone from 6th to 2nd currently in the playoff spot. Pretty much it'll be them and Denver, to your point.
Mhm.
Denver fighting for that proverbial seeding. It looks like it'll be between them, the Lakers,
Yep.
and Memphis as far as who's going to get that number 2 or number 3 spot. But the welcomed additions by both those teams, Lucas and then Jimmy Butler, have moved them immensely. So maybe with the addition of Colin Gillespie, they're 2.5 games back. That being the Phoenix Suns. Dallas lost again.
Yes.
So only 2.5 back of playing the play-in. So maybe that will spur them on to get into the play. Hey, guys, give us Suns fans some hope that this kid is going to help turn this around, get the energy going. You got Denver tomorrow night, as you mentioned, Jimmy.
Right.
You got Dallas on Sunday. Should win that game.
Better chance to win.
You got Memphis at the on Tuesday. It's going to be tough to win there. But who knows? Maybe he is or he isn't the catalyst. But we got to look for something, some
right.
ray of hope, one way or the other.
Let me just offer this up, because on a lot of places that I visited today on the ride from my home here to Deer Valley, which I felt like I was driving to Idaho, the talk was, okay, now, and it's just like what Manuch said. Now that they have discovered Colin Gillespie, he has to start. He's got to start. He's got to be on the court at the very beginning. No, he doesn't have to start. You're going to play against a Denver team whose guards are Russell Westbrook and Jamal Murray. 2 talented, physical guards. Gillespie's 6'2". He's going to get pushed around. I think it'll be a matchup call by Budenholzer, the Suns coach, to see how he handles those 2 guards at the beginning of the game. And look, I know that he played terrific. He had a fourth quarter. He brought the team alive, and they ended up winning that game. And I tip my cap to that kid. He has worked extremely hard to become an NBA player. And Manuch, I agree. He should have plenty of minutes in that game on Friday night.
If Bill is healthy, he's still questionable for tomorrow night.
Yep, that's right.
Do you start him again at have him book as the guards, or do you put Tyus Jones back in the game? Tyus, it's unusual for him to turn the ball over like he has. It's really unusual. But do you go back to it? So if Bill's not healthy, you don't play him again until, let's say, Sunday or next Tuesday against Memphis. Do you hold him out? Do you play him? And I agree with you. I think Gillespie comes in as that reserve role. He can spark that team.
Correct.
But hopefully you can get enough from the starting lineup. And if it is Tyus Jones or Bradley Beal.
I don't know if I played Tyus Jones if I put Ryan Dunn on either Westbrook or Jamal Murray.
Well, and to that point, I could see that in reference to the size of Gillespie.
Correct.
I don't know. It's kind of now, I think what Budenholzer did, and I thought what Budenholzer did in that fourth quarter, in the fourth quarter, might have been one of his better matchup coaching jobs, if you will, that we see that. So I don't know. It's all about the matchups. You got Denver, but it's going to be very tough to win that game. Interested to see which way that they go from there.
From that aspect, I still believe that the Suns can get to the play-in tournament just because the Mavericks are going to fall off so badly. I really believe that now it could take place.
Well, them falling off, with Dallas falling off, the favors you have, Sacramento, so you look at them, Sacramento.
They're going to win. DeMontis Sabonis is out right now with a hamstring, but who did they acquire? They acquired Jonas Vassiliadis from Washington, and he's playing absolutely sensational now in the center position. They also acquired Zach LaVine, who has had solid nights, and they are on a nice little winning streak, are the Sacramento Kings.
So the Suns are going to be chasing the Mavericks, only 2.5 back.
That is it.
Sacramento's 4, basically 4.5 up.
Yep.
So it'll be tough to catch them with, 20 games to go with the season. And on top of that, you were talking about Sacramento. They've won 7 out of the last 10.
Yeah.
Mavs have lost 6 out of the last 10. So
Hey,
that's the horse you want to chase.
That's correct. Headlines presented by our great partnership
Got a minute left.
at Weekapaw Casino and Resort, and of course, their great sports book, the WKP Sports Book. And we have a new partnership with the WKP Sports Book. It is March Mania, and here's just a little sample. A huge $100,000 bracket contest. You heard me. $100K. That's it. Bracket contest. And we're going to be hosting the Final Four event at the Sports Book. $100 props, $100 squares. Also at halftime of each game on that Saturday, 25 people will roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000. Not 5 cents, not 50 cents, not $50, not $500, but $50,000. There's more details on our website. That's rockandmanuch.com. It is the WKP Sportsbook at Weekapaw Casino and Resort. Go and fill out your bracket. Win at weekapaw.com. Again, that is win at weekapaw.com.
All right, we're out here at Twin Peaks in Deer Valley. This is the newest of their 5 locations. And we're going to be here throughout the March Madness. And we're thankful to Bud Light and Neutral, who's jumped on board today. We're pretty excited about that. Got some sounds of the night. We got some NBA. Got some great college basketball finishes. We'll dive into that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
Craving tacos?
It's Thursday, and the guys are live at Twin Peaks Deer Valley, located in the Deer Valley Town Center. Twin Peaks, the home of the 29-degree beer, served
Making Mike's Hot.
in 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, before we get to some of the sounds of the night, just real quick, I know you guys probably mentioned it yesterday, but I did not. I was not here. I just think it's important, once again, to just thank James Harden for making a pretty high-figure donation to ASU for the collective, the fund for the NIL opportunities for players. So for him, I'm sure you guys dove into it pretty big yesterday, but I just think that is just so cool. And it's about time. I don't know, you've been waiting for him to step up and throw a couple bucks to ASU, and here he is, finally stepping up, according to front office.
It is a major six-figure offer.
Yeah, it's great.
And don't you think some of these guys, some of the pros or
they'll start
individuals
to see
that are making a lot of money are going? They're realizing we got to step up for the basketball program, got to step up for the football program, baseball, whatever it is, to be competitive. On a year in and year out basis, but yeah, that was quite.
What took so long? He's been removed from ASU for 16 years.
Yep, but
he
there was
spends
no
his
NIL
offseason in Scottsdale.
Yeah, and I've seen him.
But even if there wasn't an NIL,
right?
Guy like that, you write checks to your school.
Well, we don't know if he has, if he hasn't, Ron. We don't know if he did or if he did before that. We just know that it's more public now that you can actually say.
I think we would know if he is committed in the past.
Well, there's a lot of private donors out there.
There are.
I mean, there's a lot of guys he could have.
What NBA guy does not want his name on something?
I know, but I would think that, hey, a lot of guys have got the money, are contributing, and now that it's legal to put it out there who it came from, versus, hey, here's my $150,000 or $1 million, whatever it is, to put it out there. So maybe he wants to let it know if there's any other ASU alum out there like himself, may not be playing pro ball, to say, hey, look, we got to help this basketball program out. We got to help things out. So he's now making it known that he's one of the guys contributing. Matter of fact, as you mentioned, he lives in Scottsdale. He spends a lot of time over there with practices and on campus. He likes coming on practices and campuses.
He does.
He's a Sun Devil, thick and thin. So
about time. Let's get to some of the sounds. Let's talk about the first NBA team to clinch. Cleveland Cavaliers with their 12th win. Here is the Cavs clinching after Duncan Robinson's tying 3.
In a line on the far side of the court. Working with a little bit of space on the flare. Robinson for the tie. Duncan Robinson on 3 of 5 days, but he stepped out of bounds.
Psych.
He
I just want to say they got called. They got called off. I like playing those when he get called off. He gets screwed, stepped out of bounds, dumbass. Come on.
Did.
Jimmy, think they're getting primed. They've won last 10 in a row.
They're good.
That's 12.
12 in a row, yeah.
They are a very deep team that can go a long way to give the Boston Celtics a lot of trouble.
Well, and the Celtics won 8 out of the last 10. They're chasing, but they're still 8 games back.
How about in the Celtics game last night where Peyton Pritchard, University of Oregon kid, who is a bench guy who probably gets 20 minutes a night most of the time.
And he went to Oregon.
Okay. Just a reminder.
He's a Duck?
He's a Duck.
What year did he graduate?
Through and through. I'd probably say 5 years ago now.
You a big Oregon fan all of a sudden?
No, but I did some of their games.
Just
I like Eugene. I like Eugene. Eugene's fun. I had my first TV job. No, I didn't. I had my first TV job at KVAL-TV in Eugene, Oregon. That's why I remember.
I looked at Manuch when you said that. I'm like, all right, went to Oregon. So what?
I knew you were going to say that. So at any rate, he goes for over 40 last night because Jason Tate didn't play.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you similar to what we saw with Colin Gillespie, Manuch, when a guy gets a chance, to show what he can really do, then you go, oh, my God, I didn't know he could do that. He and Derek White
both had over 40 points, did they not?
Yeah.
They both combined for 40?
Yep.
White let's get to some college basketball. How about this ending last night between Maryland and Michigan?
On the clean screen, hits the 3. The team and a player is a prolific three-point shooter. You cannot go under the screen. Too much room for Rodney Rice, and he drills that 3 from the top.
How about that? Good W there as Maryland takes care of business 71-65, courtesy of the Big Ten Network.
I love the point that he made on that you can't go underneath the screen like that because that immediately opens it up for the shooter to get his shot off much easier.
And then we had another upset. This was an upset, that is, with Ole Miss over Tennessee.
They switched off the screen. Milicic has it. Milicic got it away from Frankfield.
You hear the PA guy?
Yeah, stay off the court.
Do not go on the court.
You're going to get fined.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. How about that? That's courtesy of ESPN2, as you just heard, Reese Davis and Jimmy Dykes. And this was my oh my goodness moment from last night. And this is the Providence DePaul game right at the end.
Earlier this year.
He went up with the shot and was fouled.
He was at half court.
Yeah.
At half court.
What are you thinking?
Wait, yes. Let
What
him shoot the half court
are you
shot.
thinking?
How about DePaul walking out of Providence? What a big East road victory that is. A nail biter there as DePaul 3-16 in the Big East.
Yep.
And Providence not having a good year either. Providence, if you're listening, my buddy from Providence, All City Towing. 6-13 also. So not good there. Also, we had some hockey history last night as Ovechkin, who is getting closer and closer to knocking off Gretzky. He moves to 9 behind him with this 885th goal.
To the front for Montreal. 10 from the all-time record.
31st goal here at Madison Square Garden for the Grade 8. And this is him all the way. A quiet game, a little frustrated, nothing going his way, not much 5-on-5, and then bang. And he barely got a stick on this one here. As you can see, the play off the face-off, the quick play there, and you can see how quick those hands are. That puck was
all right, there you go. We
loose
don't need
for
to hear
a
the play-by-play. Thanks to TNT there. So there you go. There's our sounds of the night, courtesy of me.
What do they got? Some 20-some games left, 25 games left.
NHL, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think he can get it?
Oh, I think that he will get it. He is really dialed in right now.
3
I
minutes.
just hope, Jimmy, excuse me, I just hope it's not an open goal.
Oh, yeah. Like
Open net.
Into the game, open net.
That would
yeah.
suck.
Yeah, it would.
You know, it's like, that's the
it.
winner.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm with you. I don't
Does
know.
he retire or
you'd like
does he come back next year?
Well, he's playing great. He's got 34 goals on the season.
I know.
And his slap shot is still second to none. And when he sets up on the left wing and the pass comes across the ice, he has one of the best one-timers of all time. It is one motion, and that puck is buried in the back of the net.
Didn't they time his slap shot at like one of the highest ever?
Well, no, he in his younger days, he was around 100.
Yes.
But there are guys that have been clocked at 103, 104.
Yeah.
But he was right up there around 100.
20
yes.
games ago.
Yep. That's
so
it.
you get the 9th, get the 10th goal.
Now, remember, let's remind everybody,
2 minutes.
this is not
2 minutes.
Wayne Gretzky's all-time points record. It's just
The
his
goals.
goals record. Yes.
Still,
It's
impressive.
still very impressive.
I
Well,
mean,
I
you
think
know,
it's
you had some historic scoring this week with LeBron James hitting 50,000.
Yes, right?
You know, records are made to be broken. You know,
I agree.
I mean, it's
fun.
I think that some will
yeah.
be some will never be broken. Others are
Like
close
what?
to be broken.
Cal Ripken's record.
Cal Ripken's
it's
record?
not going to be broken.
I don't think that. I think
that's a different type of record.
Yeah.
That's not something he did on the field. He just showed up.
Well, he
so
was
many
in,
consecutive
he was
days.
in
He was
every
in
game.
every game.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
he
if
just
he
was
showed
good.
it, well, that's his
I
job.
never missed a day of school. I mean, I get anything.
You don't even show up for this
Did-
show
did-
half the time.
Here's the thing. I think
I'm not. Please, I'm not coming across as. I'm not discounting
no,
his,
I know.
his deal, but
I know.
hits, scores,
Yeah.
runs, home runs.
Yeah.
That's the record
One
I
minute.
look at.
the other
One
one
minute.
would be tough. Would be the 400 batting average by Ted Williams.
Ted Williams. I also
I think
believe
that'd be very, very difficult.
I
Not that he
also
can't,
right.
but
I
Tony
believe,
Gwynn had a chance. Was at one
well,
year.
Pete Rose got to 48.
Yeah, and then I'm not talking about the batting average. 400
400.
batting
Oh,
average.
400 batting.
400
okay.
batting
DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. I don't think that'll ever be touched.
Would
I thought
Pete get 48? Was it
48?
48?
I think, yeah.
Those are some
They
of the.
used to cut to Pete Rose when he was at the plate on television, like in the middle of shows.
They did
to
that
show
with
that.
McGuire and
They,
Sosa.
they did, yes, with a home run chase. Absolutely.
I don't think there's a better time in baseball than that, at least for me.
The home run chase.
I was-
it was
I was-
awesome.
McGuire, Sosa.
Yeah. It
I was
awesome.
fortunate that I was working in baseball. I was with the Giants organization.
Yeah.
And just, I think that was just
It was
remarkable.
awesome. It was
You would
awesome.
try to get home as fast as you could
Yep.
to make sure you could watch the game.
Or if Chicago or the Cardinals were in town, you got there
Clear
early
to rep. Clear
to
to
watch
rep.
batting
Batting
practice.
practice, yeah.
Because and they would have like 15,000 people watching
Oh,
BP.
yeah.
Watch McGuire hit it out of Chase Field, hit it right between the panels. Sosa hit it out of center field, and Sosa breaking the the scoreboard lights. Hitting
Yes.
some shots.
All right, coming up, Tank Wars. The Sixers, the Spurs. Jimmy's now throwing in the Mavs. The race for Cooper Flag in the 2025 NBA draft. We're going to go out to Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to catch up with Andrew Carter, who is the beat writer for the Tar Heels, as the Tar Heels will host number 2 Duke. It's a big rivalry weekend in college basketball, but here's Jax with your first ESPN local sports center here on ESPN 620.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour ESPN 620 Sports Update. Live from Twin Peaks, Deer Valley, I'm Jackson Groff. The 5-6 Arizona Diamondbacks face off against the 3-7 Cleveland Guardians tonight at 6:05 p.m. from Goodyear Ballpark. Ryan Nelson takes them out for his second spring training start of the season, while Tanner Beebe makes his spring debut for Cleveland. Meanwhile, the NFL world has been buzzing over major moves the last 24 hours. The Los Angeles Chargers have released star edge rusher Joey Bosa, while the Jaguars have parted ways with wide receiver Christian Kirk, and the Seahawks have moved on from Tyler Lockett. On top of that, the Seahawks wide receiver
15
DK
seconds.
Metcalf has officially requested a trade. With the NFL free agency starting to begin on March 12th, the Arizona Cardinals are poised to be aggressive, holding the 5th most cap space in the league at $77.8 million. Andrew Carter joins us next here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
RockForWhiteToyota.com.
Twin Peaks, the home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
I got some college hoops to dive into. UNC Duke, big rivalry on Saturday. And joining us now is UNC beat writer from the Raleigh News Observer. Andrew Carter joins us. You can follow him on Twitter, X at Andrew Carter, and he's now here on ESPN 620 Phoenix. Andrew, how's your Thursday going? How's it going?
It's going great. Might not be as great as you guys, though, with those 29-degree beers. It's going well
I like
here.
this guy's style.
Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah, Twin Peaks is enjoying that. Hey, grand prize for the 2025 NBA draft is going to be Cooper Flagg. Yes or no?
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any question. I mean, he pretty much was the consensus number one pick like a year ago when he was in high school. And keep in mind, too, that he reclassified, that he technically still should be in high school. He only turned 18 this year at Duke, early in his freshman season, actually. And he's done nothing this season but exceed expectations, but, prove that I would say he's probably the best freshman college basketball player. You can make the case since Carmelo Anthony, more than that's 20 plus years ago when Carmelo was at Syracuse. And Cooper has been that guy for Duke since day one. He's flirted with triple doubles all year. He can do so many different things very well. Obviously, he can score, can take you off the dribble. He can rebound. He's a great passer. He can defend. He has an incredible competitive spirit. He checks all the boxes. And so there's no doubt that he's going to be the top pick. And, you might have seen some ridiculous stuff a couple weeks ago from a story a friend of mine did in The Athletic. The story was great, but Cooper had a flag in there saying, Cooper had a quote in there basically saying like, hey, I love it so much, I wish I could come back. He was never serious about actually coming back or giving that any kind of legit thought. It was just sort of his way of saying, I love it here at Duke. There's zero chance he comes back. And I think there's zero chance that he's not the number one pick.
Who does he remind you of? Can you compare him to any NBA star?
Oh, gosh. I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm not like a super into the NBA, honestly.
It's fair.
But
it's tough. I can't even answer my own question. So I get it.
I'm not sure there is a great comparison in terms of his size, in terms of his skill set, because he does he's just sort of this freak of nature where he does literally everything very well. And I'm not sure there's been a player in the NBA that has been as skilled as him in like literally all areas. I think it's going to be a one-of-a-kind type situation. He's a generational talent. But yeah, whoever gets him, and I haven't checked, lately, which teams are tanking trying to get Cooper Flagg. But I think it would be a wise decision if that was your strategy.
The only player that I would put, if I go back to his college days at Indiana State, would be Larry Bird, who could carry a team on his shoulders, and he did all the way into the championship game. The difference, I think, between Bird and Flagg, Bird was a little taller, but couldn't jump the way that Flagg does, and you are correct. He is extremely skilled for being this young.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We always hear in this part of the world, North Carolina covering UNC, covering Duke, these are schools for years and years that have gotten their share of top recruits, and a lot of them enter with no shortage of hype, especially at Duke. Over the past 10 years, there's been a ton of one and dones. Zion Williamson was sort of that guy 4 or 5 years ago, and he was at Duke, but Duke has had, Jahlil Okafor, RJ Barrett, you go on down the list. And a lot of those guys have been really good. Zion earned the hype. He was sort of this phenomenon nationally, but nobody has been as good as Cooper Flagg has been during what's going to be his lone season at Duke. And again, it's on both ends. It's not just scoring. It's not just the highlight plays, the dunks that go viral. But like he loves to set screens. Like he loves to move without the ball. He loves to do those things that do not show up in a box score. He loves to, just like do all the right things that John Shire wants him to do in the offense to help set up his teammates and stuff. I mean, he's just, he's an incredible talent. It's the stuff you see, again, that goes viral, but it's all those little things, the nitty gritty details he's also really good at. And that's what's going to make him a great pro for years and years.
Very tough to defense as well, too, on Saturday night. Back on February 1st, I had a chance to watch this game at Cameron Indoor, 87-70. Didn't it start off like 25-3 or something like that? And Char Hill's made a run. But since then.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Since then, you guys have won 7 of the last 8, only losing to Clemson. What's it going to take there in North Carolina to have this team be competitive against Duke or in this rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that UNC has done really well over the past 6 games, 6-game winning streak, you have to put that into the context of, the fact that the ACC is not very good. And so UNC over the past couple of weeks has kind of been beaten up on teams that, are just down. Like they've played sort of the bottom half of the ACC. They have played really well, so you have to give them some credit there. But Carolina has shot really well. That's not something that they were doing for the first 2.5 months of the season. They were not a good shooting team. So, they're going to have to shoot 50% or better from the outside to have any sort of chance. UNC has not been a very good defensive team this year. Like if you look at the metrics, KenPom, some of these advanced analytics sites, basically have this particular UNC team as being one of their worst defensive teams over the past 25 years.
3 minutes.
For a Carolina team to be this poor defensively. So they're going to have to figure out a way to get some stops, figure out a way to slow down a very potent Duke offense. I think it's going to be really tough. I just think, there are certain teams where, you match up favorably with and you can sort of see a path. Well, if this happens or that happens, it's very difficult for me to see a path where UNC wins this game on Saturday. I know that's not something people here want to entertain. Obviously, this is UNC country. Duke is actually more of a national type brand, a huge fan base, obviously, but in North Carolina, it's UNC and NC State. And so Tar Heel fans are going to be mad at me for saying that. But I just think this is a really bad matchup for this particular Carolina team. They lack size. They've not been very good defensively. They don't have the particular tools, I don't think, to really even
2 minutes.
I can't even remember what it was. 25-3 sounds about right. It was one of those games when they played the first time where Duke, you got the sense, could have picked its score. And they kind of let off the gas a bit in the second half. They were up 30-plus points. Yes. And it wound up, you look at that score, I think it's a 17-point margin, and it's like, okay, that's not close, but it's not embarrassing.
Right.
But it was embarrassing.
It was.
It really was. Like Carolina, I think, went on a run the final 3-4 minutes in garbage time of that game to make it look quasi-respectable, but it wasn't close. And honestly, I would be surprised, even in Chapel Hill, if it's close on Saturday.
Andrew Carter's our guest on the Right to It, a guest line. Andrew, I'll let you go on this, and I know that you're into the hoops right now, but is Bill Belichick now the king on campus? Has that already happened or not yet?
1 minute.
Yeah, no, I think he is. Like it's Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I mean, that name just carries a certain kind of gravitas, if you will. I mean, like, even at UNC, which, let's face it, UNC is not Georgia, it's not Alabama. It does not have this reputation of being like this football mad institution. But because of the hire, because of this guy that won like 6 Super Bowls, the most successful NFL coach of all time in that regard. Yeah, I mean, people are excited. Like it's sort of a novelty. Mm-hmm. I think it's like I don't know if anyone here really has a firm grasp on what to expect. Does he turn UNC into this football power overnight? Probably not. Like it's not the most talented roster that he has to work with. They got their work cut out for him in terms of recruiting, in terms of hitting the portal. But there's like an immense interest. I think the interest in UNC football, both on that campus throughout the state, throughout the region.
Clear to rep. Clear to rep.
I mean, people are paying attention to UNC football. You know, folks like yourself out on the other side of the country are interested in the story. And that has never happened to Carolina football. You know, it's always been sort of this, you know, why isn't this program better than it is, sleeping giant, all that stuff. They haven't done much on the field to be worthy of any kind of attention or national respect or whatever. But, you know, there's just a ton of attention. There's a ton of people, you know, wondering, is this going to work? You know, tuning in. You know, it's going to be good for ratings. People are going to be interested. Will it work? I don't know. I mean, like, I have my doubts. He's 73 years old. He's never done it in college. He's going to have to do all kinds of things that are very, like, un-Belichickian in my mind, like schmoozing with boosters and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's a different world in college football, as you all know. So does it work? Who knows? But, like, it's working right now in terms of interest, in terms of eyeballs, in terms of, you know, people just being into Carolina football in a way that's never happened before.
Andrew, good stuff today. Thanks for your time. We appreciate you.
No, thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all for having me.
You got it. More UNC. If you want to see, go to Andrew Carter on Twitter and X. He is the beat writer for the Raleigh News and Observer. As he pretty much laid it out that Duke's going to win.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Clearly going to win.
They will.
Coming up, there is a new version of Monopoly coming out that not everyone is happy about. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B from Twin Peaks.
Make a mic up.
Center, Twin Peaks, the home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Rumor alert. Kevin Durant has a lady friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. WNBA fan. WNBA player. So, according to a report, he was previously engaged to former WNBA player Monica Wright. However, he hasn't been public in a relationship in over a decade. And, Durant's from Maryland. And he previously shared on social media on why he's single. And he listed the reasons. This is kind of interesting. I'm a massive overthinker. I care too deeply. I'm a be safe type of guy. Message me when you get home. Have a good night type of guy. I have so much energy. I give my all to people who don't give me half back. This is crazy. I would do anything to make someone happy, even if it means I get hurt in the process. I need reassurance all the time. I'll push you away when I feel like the energy isn't reciprocated. I love old school romance, and that's not just a thing of our generation. So all that came out, but
sounds like his profile on Match.com.
But you're not going to believe. Take a wild guess who he is rumored to date. Have you been to McDonald's recently?
I have not.
No. Have not.
No.
Hint.
No.
Yep.
Oh, KD, no.
Yes.
What? He's dating Ronald McDonald?
Close.
Somebody with red
Jack
hair?
goes to McDonald's. Jack's?
Angel Reese.
Yep.
Oh,
I
really?
can see that.
Really?
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah.
Man, power couple.
I was going to say two athletes.
Yeah.
A lot of things in common.
I can see that taking place.
I mean, did you compare your notes, Rock, to his notes while you're still single and he's still single?
Yeah, I got all that.
You got all that broken
got
down?
that for me. Let's quickly on this day. What do we got here? Walter Cronkite retired after 19 days as being the anchor man on CBS News, Evening News. That was 1981. Mike Tyson's first professional fight ended with a knockout of El Hector Mercedes in the first round. And sadly, 2006 Hall of Famer outfielder Kirby Puckett died here in Scottsdale at the age of 45, a day after he suffered a massive stroke.
That's on this day, sponsored by Twin Peaks March Fever Bracket Challenge. With the conference championships right around the corner, now's the time to register for our Dos Million Bracket Challenge.
Dos Equis.
So just go to TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com. That's TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com. Fill out your bracket. The tournament gets going at 20th of March. Enter your chance to win $2 million and also a chance to win $50 gift cards at every one of the lodge locations. Just remember, we'll be sponsoring, watching all of the NCAAs at all 5 of the Twin Peaks locations. Remember, go to fanpick'em.com. Enjoy Bud Light specials throughout the madness to get your picks in.
And neutral. All right. With soaring egg prices,
Okay.
there's this new deal out there. It's called chicken rentals. And it's become a thing.
I've heard this.
So the way this works is they provide the hens, the feed, the support, allowing customers to collect fresh eggs at home. And for about $600 for a 6-month rental, customers can expect about a dozen eggs per week from 2 hens. And here's the owner of Rent the Chicken.
The majority of everybody who rents loves it. And a lot of the customers decide they want to have the same birds. They get very attached to their birds. And when they come back, we tag them with a colored tag around the ankle so they can get the same birds back next year. We just let them out and walk around. They go in at night on their own. They want to roost up and just real low maintenance. And, people really enjoy it.
That's Brian Templeton, the owner of Rent the Chicken.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
I've been sitting on this since Monday, and I'm like, I got to play that because he sounds like he's from Philly. He's got that Philly kind of North Jersey accent. And he's like pretty proud of this business.
Yes.
And it sounds like, a couple heads.
Did he say $600 for 6
Yes.
months?
Yeah, for 600. That's I told you that. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, he
Yes.
may have said it too, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
$600.
So can you do a rent to own? Eventually rent to own, like a house. Say I'm gonna lease it for 2 years. How about I just buy it?
Yeah.
no, it's weird.
Equity
though.
into
I
it?
don't think I could. I don't know.
You couldn't do chickens in your backyard?
No, and I don't think I could eat the egg right away. I don't know.
They're
I know
fresh.
they say that
They're not
I'm not the
processed.
biggest egg fan, but I'd rather go to a store and buy it in the carton.
I
and
get it.
I don't care if they're $12 a dozen. But anyway, there's a new version of Monopoly coming out. And there are people a little upset about it because it adds a mobile app that replaces the banker and the physical cash.
What?
So it's supposed to make the money transactions easier. So instead of the money, you actually are using your app.
Right.
There you go, word.
No.
I don't like that at all.
All right, let's get to football 50. We got a lot to get into in the NFL. We have some restructuring, one being Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. It's being reported by ESPN that they're clearing nearly $36 million in salary cap. But before the restructuring this morning, they were about $22 million over the cap, that being the Cleveland Browns. Dak Prescott is no longer the highest 2025 salary cap figure in the NFL, as he has restructured his contract, creating $36.6 million in cap space. That came out late yesterday, and the Cowboys converted $45.75 million of Prescott's base salary to the signing bonus, reducing the cap figure to $89.89 million to $53.29. So let me ask you, Manuch, when you played at that level and they were restructuring your contract, is it money they just kind of give you? You're making more, right?
Yeah,
You're saying,
yeah.
so if you're making $1 million, they're going to say, let's restructure, and we're going to give you a 10, 15% bump, and we're just going to move it down the road,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Like
we
a
just-
Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
Yep.
For those of us making $32,000 and $40,000 a year, we were just happy to get half the paycheck back from that standpoint. There wasn't the restructuring in those days. The market was for quarterback. If you made $450,000 to $600,000, you were a top quarterback. I mean, for them to come to you and say, "Hey, look, want to restructure?" Well, you'll make it back 4 or 5 years down the road. You know where that started was mostly baseball, Rock. They started to get those, like the Randy Johnsons and Kurt Schillings. They're paying those astronomical contracts to Schilling, Johnson, Bobby Bonilla, that they'd pay them eventually 15, 20, 25 years down the road.
Crazy.
That's where it started.
Joey Bosa was released by the Chargers, the 5-time Pro Bowler. I expect him ending up in San Francisco and playing with his brother.
I would think, yeah. His only problem is he's just often injured.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get him for the league minimum, they'll pay him a fair league minimum. But have he and his brother on both sides, he's still very viable.
3
if he can
minutes.
Stay healthy.
3 minutes.
That's his whole thing.
You hear names like that, and you're like, man, Cardinals.
Oh, I know.
You just would love. I don't care if the guy's kind of washed up. This has been an organization since I've been here in 93, and it's been around since 88. This has been a destination for guys that are towards the end of their career.
Careers, yes.
The Boomer Esiasons, the Emmitt Smiths. I mean,
Yep.
this has been a place for people to come to. Not saying that Joey Bosa's towards. He is probably closer to the end
but
than the beginning.
When he's healthy, he's still damn good.
Yeah.
He's still damn good. He's
I mean,
really good.
could you get another year like you got from J.J. Watt when he was done in his career?
I would
He
think
played
so.
fine. He played good.
Really
yeah,
well.
he did. He was very viable his first couple
So
years.
hard to believe that
That-
he was a Cardinal.
I know. Can you make a move for Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals?
Could be.
He's been given permission now to seek a trade.
I'd give up that first round pick for
For
him.
Hendrick, yeah.
He's a dude.
He's
man.
is a
a proven
Yes,
guy
he is.
year in and year out
Yep.
that not a lot of people talk about.
All pro year this year.
Seahawks,
2 minutes. 2
DK
minutes.
Metcalf, he's requesting a trade. He wants out. Wonder why. What's going
Well,
on?
Tyler Lockett got let go yesterday.
Yeah.
So his buddy got let go. They're making some changes there. I think he's probably not seeing where they're going offensively. And but if he's going to be the guy, he'll probably catch 60, 70, 80 balls. He's still going to get the football. At this point, I think when guys make all that money, now they're looking to go somewhere where they have a chance to win it all. Now, I thought Seattle last year, you look at how well they played toward the end, that they might have that chance. But you may want to go to a team. Hell, I don't know if you look at San Francisco, you look at a lot of teams that are out there, but San Fran, I still think is going to need another receiver now that Debo's gone. Now, whether they get him on the cheap or not, it's a whole nother question. Trade-wise, if it's a trade, these guys are making, $20 million, whatever. If they get let go and they get waived, and you can bring them back with the league minimum, then you have a shot. I don't think that's going to happen with DK, though.
Yeah, it's kind of fun right now with some of these moves that we're hearing.
1 minute.
And, hey, knock, knock, Cardinals, let's go.
Well, hey, legal tampering starts Monday, Rock.
I know. You figure
legal tampering.
Figure they already screwed up when they got Jonathan Gannon. They don't want to mess that up again. Remember they tampered with the Eagles?
I remember that. Forgot about that.
I mean, it's come on. You got to be smarter than that. Speaking of the Eagles, they resigned Zach
Great move.
Bond today.
Good move.
3 years, $51 million, according to ESPN. All right. Hour number 2's coming up. We got some man bites. Yeah, Rock's man bites today. You're going to like it. Yeah. I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit. It's not dog days of summer, but we'll have some fun with that. Rick Horrow will talk about the business side of sports, and you'll have an opportunity to challenge one of the lovely ladies here at Twin Peaks Deer Valley, thanks to our friends over at Bud Light and Neutral. It's Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B. We got Jackson's even here today. Connor back at the ESPN 620 studios. Hour number 2's next.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe.
Making Mike's out.
Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We know you have choices. Appreciate you hanging out for a little bit as you're cruising around the valley. Beautiful day. Gotta love when we have inclement weather. You want to call it that early on?
Yeah.
Actually, spring weather, Rock.
It's outstanding.
65 for the high today.
I haven't worn jeans in a month and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's going to be 59 degrees tomorrow. Chances of rain, 65% chance of rain.
How do you know that?
Because I watch that weather every night.
What's your weather? Who's your weather girl that you got?
I just know the guy gal on Channel 12. She's pregnant again.
How would you know that?
Because we watch all the time. Yes,
okay.
I got the guy filling in right now. So, yeah, the last 4 years, she's been pregnant
What does that have
every
to do
year.
with weather? What does that
Well,
have to do with
well,
weather?
so, really, Jimmy? You're
Dialed in, man.
You're going to say that about him when earlier you had to bring up a guy and say he went to Oregon? Like no one cares about that. Same thing.
Peyton Pritchard
You guys, both you
plays
guys,
on the West
both
Coast.
of you guys say a bunch of crap that means nothing.
That's not true.
Well,
it's just so insignificant.
So just to clarify, I do watch Channel 12 weather, and that young lady, I forget her name, this is child number 3 in the last 4 years.
So
the guy that come in.
Consider
Good guy.
Christmas card.
By the way,
busy.
the guy that fills in the next pilot, he talks about like a lot of the disasters that have happened and kind of gives a good idea as far as the flights and travel and this and that. So it's pretty interesting. You get a little more than the weather on Channel 12.
Just like this show.
Thank you, MC.
It's more than
MC Hammer, Mark Curtis and the boys.
than sports. Jeez. All right.
Hey, did I ever tell you that Peyton Pritchard played at Oregon?
Did he really? Where did Colin Gillespie play?
Villanova.
Nova.
Best
And,
college
in fact, to be
basketball
honest
school
with
of
you,
all time.
It was awesome when he was there. They were sensational. I think I did 2 of their games, if memory serves me correctly.
By any
He was
chance,
great.
by any chance, did you call any games with the Palestra?
I did. John Pannone.
The voice of the PA guy?
That was Zinkoff.
No, Zinkoff was with the
Phillies.
Spectrum.
It
was Dan something.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Zink was iconic at the Spectrum.
Yeah. He's the guy that tagged Julius Irving, that
correct.
kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, the Palestra, which was the home of Penn, LaSalle, Temple, Villanova, and Drexel.
Yes.
And
big
great
big
college basketball.
Yeah.
But, growing up on the East Coast, college basketball wasn't that big. It wasn't really that big other than that. My family lives in the Carolinas, and that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
ACC basketball,
Absolutely.
whole nother level.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of course,
Yeah.
this weekend, Duke, UNC.
That's religion.
Always,
True.
That's one of those games
that's
that
church.
there's certain sporting events that you want to go to as a bucket list, like going to the Masters,
Yep.
Ohio State, Michigan, Duke, UNC. I mean those are some really, if you're very fortunate to be able to go to those.
Did we say Vinny DiVincenzo and he played together at least 1 year?
1 year,
Those
I
two?
believe. Yeah, at Villanova.
Vinny D.
Yeah.
Boy, he's balling right now.
Yeah, he is.
So Suns are off tonight. They will be in Denver tomorrow. And if you listened yesterday, you would know that Manuch thinks they're back on track.
Damn right.
It's
Going on
crazy how one win,
I know.
and some of this fan base is like, I think they can do it. I think they're going to get into play.
Yeah.
Come on.
Only 2.5 back of the play-in line right now. And Dallas is reeling as they've lost 6 out of 10. Suns finally get 1 in a row. I don't know. Hey, look, as sad as it is, if there's a guy that can spur them or help them out or do whatever, more power to him. Maybe they find another kid to come off the bench to push the basketball, get it up and down the court.
What if Grayson Allen comes off the bench tomorrow night and goes for 25 and has 7 assists and he hits a game-winning shot?
Love it. He's doing his job.
Is he going to be your new guy?
No, he's doing his job. He's supposed to do that. Coming off the bench. He's more of the shooter. Free him up. So when Collins in the game and Grayson's in the game, Grayson can free up behind the screen, hit those 3-pointers, have to handle the ball, get things going from the outside. And that's the one thing that KD talked about. He said, look, when me and Booker in the game and he's in the game and being calling, it frees us up. We don't have to worry about handling the basketball. And you saw as soon as the ball came into Book, he gave right to Gillespie. And he got the offense in motion. He got the offense moving. Grayson Allen comes in. Hey, I don't care who is the guy. They need dudes that are only 2.5 games behind from Dallas, who seems to be reeling, but hopefully you got to win that game on Sunday.
It's the curse of Luka. It's like almost the curse of the Bambino that haunted the Red Sox for so many years, as this team is just unraveled. And it's amazing in the last 31 days how bad it's been for the Dallas Mavericks. And you have to point fingers at their front office. Like, what the hell? And you know why Cuban got out, obviously, now.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have to take the seat because this would not have happened under his watch.
Correct.
But for them to make this move, arguably top 5 player in the world, and Anthony Davis, now he's hurt. Do you play him? Do you sit him out? What do you do? Kyrie's out for the year now, and you raise your season tickets in the middle of this.
Yeah. Well, you had
a major WTF.
You had Klay Thompson to the fold as well too.
Yeah, I like that.
And that team. And you are right, Rock. I mean, why do you break that up when you have a great chance get to the playoffs? Number one, what was happening?
They went
behind
to the
finals
last year.
Exactly. So then you add another piece with Davis, and you go, okay, this year and the next 2 or 3 years, you just scratch your head. What was going on with Luka that forced Nico to go ahead and trade him to LA?
I can tell you that because he was up for a supermax contract, and they weren't going to pay him that. However, when you get traded, the supermax contract goes away, and the Lakers now will just be up for a max contract. So that's why I think the Lakers know that LeBron's days are numbered, despite the fact that he is playing at an unbelievable level.
All in now.
They need another star because it is Los Angeles. It's Hollywood.
You mean once LeBron's gone, they're going to start? You don't think that Luka can be that star?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Luka, that's why they went and did that deal.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was not going to be that star. Luka Doncic is that star.
I want to go back to the curse of Luka.
Okay.
You look at, Monday they announced that they're going to raise their season tickets like 8%.
3 minutes.
Yeah, it's not
3
a
minutes.
big number, but it's just the perception. And then what happens that night? Kyrie gets hurt, and it's over. It's completely over. We talk about how bad we have it as Phoenix Suns fans. Wow,
I know.
But what would this station and 98.7? What would they be talking about if it was this bad?
Oh, we would be killing him. However, now that Kyrie Irving is out, AD is probably going to sit out and get well.
Why wouldn't he?
Yes.
Why wouldn't he?
Exactly. So now you tank, and you'll have a chance in the Cooper flag race. So look at this. So if indeed they were to get the number 1 pick, meaning Dallas,
how? They can't, even if they tank, they can't tank enough.
They got a long way.
Yeah,
right now where they sit, they're 13.
13.
Yeah,
1% chance to get number 1.
I'm just saying
it's not going to happen.
They're
They
20
trade
games.
the
ping pong
can
balls
trade
have
for
happened.
Yeah, come on.
They can trade.
They have 20 more wins than the Washington Wizards.
I know. I get all that. But if indeed that were to take place and they end up sliding way down and out of contention, which they will, if you were to get Cooper Flag.
It's not going to happen.
Let me just say this.
It's stupid.
Flag.
It's a bad take.
AD. No, it's not. AD. Lively at the center position.
Minute and a half.
Kyrie
Minute and a half.
You're going to have a chance then to contend for the NBA title.
You are living in Disneyland.
You're not living in Disneyland.
That is one of the worst takes you could possibly have.
The
because
hell it is. That's
Cooper Flag is not going number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks unless they make a trade. You're talking about they're going to lose. They're going to all
lose
their games. They have to lose every single game.
The majority of their games they will lose.
It's not realistic.
So Jim, what are you going to trade for? What are you going to trade for to get that pick?
Just wait. How did San Antonio get the number 1 pick when they ended up getting the big fundamental and they already had David Robertson? How did they do it? They were about the 7th team in the draft. The ping pong balls came up in their favor.
Yeah, Tim Duncan.
Yes, for the big fundamental. Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know who that is.
Okay, but that is
I do.
I do. That is one of those unicorns.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm just saying It is there.
30
I'm
seconds.
not saying
30
it's going
seconds.
to happen.
Only way it would have to be fixed like the Ewing deal.
I was just going to say,
That's the only way I could
how
see
did
it.
Patrick Ewing
I
get?
mean, that's the
did
only
the
way
Knicks
I would
get him?
say,
There you go.
okay, you got a decent takedown.
So you're gonna trade, take away some trade, get more ping pong balls, Jimmy? It's not gonna happen.
Gosh.
Headlines
not gonna
presented
happen.
with good takes and bad takes.
Yes.
It is presented
Thank you.
by Weekapaw Casino and Resort and the WKP Sportsbook. Hey, listen, we're going to have a great time out there. It is March Mania. We will be at the WKP Sportsbook for the big Saturday doubleheader, and you're going to have a chance to win $100,000 in our bracket contest. Also, when you are there with us, $100 props, $100 squares, and at halftime of each game, 25 people will roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000. Now, you get more information at our website. That's rockandmanuch.com. Again, rockandmanuch.com. It's the WKP Sportsbook, Weekapaw Casino and Resort. And for the bracket challenge, just do this. Go to winatweekapaw.com. Again, that's winatweekapaw.com.
All right, we have our locks, or our underdogs today? Underdogs today. We'll have that. But first, I got a little Rock's Man advice in honor of National Frozen Food Days.
What?
Yeah, I have the top 10 foods you should never, ever freeze.
Oh.
Some may surprise you.
Okay.
I know we're going off script, but
That's all right.
my name's on the marquee.
I'm curious.
It is.
It's Rock and Manuch and Jimmy B. Right here on ESPN 6.
Say we go out on a date, some chicken, maybe some sex, see what happens.
Rock searches the world for tips on
Making Mike's up.
marriage, pop culture, and even. Yeah, here's Rock's man Vice.
60% of the time, it works every time.
All right, 41 years ago today, President Reagan declared March 6th as Frozen Food Day and called upon all Americans, and this is a quote, to observe it with appropriate ceremonies and activities.
Really?
I mean, I know he's got a great reputation of being a great president, but Frozen Food Day? Really?
Hey.
You didn't have anything else better to do?
Yeah, that was, just it must have been what do they call it? Bird's Eye must have been a big contributor for him
Maybe.
back in the day or Swanson's, one of the two.
So not everything goes well inside a freezer, though. According to the experts, here are 10 foods you should never put in your freezer. Okay, because they don't keep well.
All right.
Number one's milk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it separates,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Cooked pasta.
Huh?
Really?
It gets gummy and mushy.
Oh.
Can we done
Now this one, raw potatoes. Cooked potatoes freeze well, but not raw ones. I
never do that?
I don't even think they last forever anywhere. on the
Yeah, they
counter, right?
do, yeah.
Eggs in the shell.
No.
You freeze eggs, man. You got a problem.
Yeah, never.
Now this one, fried foods.
Okay.
Like you can't put KFC in there.
No. I
Why
can't
not?
see it.
You just have to put it like in the refrigerator. That's it.
Soft cheeses like cream cheese, ricotta. Separate because it's the milk they
Yes.
have in it.
Mhm. I can see
Pasta salads with mayonnaise. You can't do that because
No.
it separates.
Okay.
Fresh herbs. It wrecks the flavor. Cucumbers. I guess
Really?
they get mushy.
it. No, we got to put them in the crisper right there.
And
with
this
all the-
one I don't believe
Okay.
because I do this.
Uh-oh.
Coffee beans.
like
I got my Dunkin', I
Oh,
got my Wawa,
Yeah.
and I keep it in the freezer.
we used to do that. Put them in the freezer. Yeah, many years ago. Yeah.
Hey, if you've ever been to Walmart and you've ordered those frozen chicken nuggets,
Yes.
have you?
Not-
Oh, dude, there's a
Costco,
video
yeah.
that's trending that a mom in Jacksonville posted it, and it was the Walmart brand, great value, and she was cutting up the chicken nuggets, probably for her kids, right?
Yeah.
And it was just breading. There's
No.
no chicken
Chicken?
in the middle.
Oh, man.
Oh, I've been to a certain Mexican food place that the rolled tacos.
Yeah.
I've gone in there and gotten the order of 4 of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Got home. No meat.
No meat?
And the rolled tacos.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
No meat. No nothing. Took it back. Excuse me. Think you want to put some meat in there? Oh, our bad. Yeah, that's happened. By the way, my grandmother and my aunt used to make ravioli. Make a ton of them.
It's gonna be a long story.
No, they put them in the ravioli in the freezer, and then they'd sit in there for 2 or 3 months because
Yeah.
they made a ton of them.
Yeah.
So when they're saying
Makes
pasta,
sense. All right.
I debate that.
All right, let's get to our our underdog picks. Once Jack stops flirting with the girls here at Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
Hey, Jax, when you're not busy, would you like to join us for this show?
Yeah, he's trying to
'Cause
get a
it's
date
it's
again.
It's
Oh,
your,
sorry. I was doing my work getting our Twin Peaks girl.
How hard is that? You just
Call
put
that
up a
work?
You just I'll get one in
Yo,
a
come
minute.
on over.
No, but
I need
I
you
got
to-
her for 245.
Okay, good. Good job, dude.
Who'd you get?
Of course. Stay tuned for 245.
Oh, like it's a mystery who we're going to try to
Yeah, I
guess?
mean it's a
Okay.
little tease.
Oh, okay.
Come in and listen at 245. Okay,
It means he doesn't have a confirmed.
He doesn't,
yet.
yeah.
He doesn't have
All
the
right.
name yet.
Because it's the first time I saw him talking to 3 girls at one time.
Yeah.
You can't.
Jack.
You got no game, dude.
Jack.
No game.
Or he's got game.
No,
With 3.
no, he's got 3 and 3. He have 1, then we'll do our picks. All right, give us a little update.
yeah, we didn't do too hot last week. We did not hit a single underdog, and
Yeah.
Rock didn't put his pick in last week. So I
How?
think
We
that
did it
counts
on
for a
air.
loss.
No, we did
What
it
was
on
your
air.
pick? What was your pick? It's
I
not on
don't
the lineup.
remember.
It's not on the lineup.
Well, if somebody who's in charge of this segment would have wrote it down when I was doing the segment.
But if I was told that it has to be on the lineup for it to count on the underdogs by one quote.
Rules
Rock.
and regulations, Rock.
There
right
you go.
there.
Yeah.
who writes the rules and regulations? All right,
the
so we
standings-
sucked last week.
Yeah,
All right.
we sucked last week. The standings are I'm 15-8. Jimmy B and Manuch are 11-12. Rock's 11-11, even though he didn't put an underdog pick
All right,
last
put me
week.
down. I'll go 11 and 12.
All right, he's 11-12, and then Connor's 3-3.
All right.
Okay.
All right, this week I'll start. I'm going to go Philly plus 14.5 to cover at Boston. See, I think what's going to happen is they're going to get beat, but they're going to cover just because they should get blown out. And maybe because of the rivalry, maybe somebody's going to step up for Philadelphia. Wishful thinking, but
no Paul
hey,
George.
It's not like we win anything for this.
Right.
All right, I'm going to go the Knicks plus 4.5 at the Lakers. Knicks are 19-10 on the road. They're due to win a big game. Probably not, but I'm going to go plus 4.5 at the Lakers. Knicks looking to prove they can actually win a big game.
I will. Can we just bet on the side on this one?
Yes, I will.
The Lakers are the hottest team right now.
Yeah. And
they are going to beat them by about 12,
and
14.
the line has dropped to 2.5.
Somebody not playing?
Since Manuch.
Lucas not playing?
Nope, he's playing because
LeBron not playing?
He's playing. All the money was on the Knicks, just like Manuch thought, and now it's bet down to 2.5. The Lakers are going to destroy the Knicks tonight. Didn't you see, Manuch, what happened 2 nights ago in New York? The Knicks home court, and Steph Curry went off, and the Golden State Warriors won going away.
I'm putting a C note on
That's
this one.
what I'm saying.
I'm definitely betting this on
The Knicks are due. Let's put it that way.
No, they're not. They're 19-10 on the road.
Well, they got to prove to themselves they can actually win a big game on the road.
All right, Stephen A.
Not going to happen.
They are 19-10 on the road.
All right, I'm going to go with college basketball, and I'm really kind of dialed in right now to the WAC just because of how GCU is played. We had Coach on yesterday and Bryce Drew. He was great. So I'm going to take a road team, which is Tarleton State. They're playing at Cal Baptist, and I'm going to grab the 7.5 of Tarleton State against Cal Baptist. That is my underdog selection.
What a poll for Jimmy B. I'm going to go to golf because I didn't like the selections from basketball. Ludwig Oberg, top 5, plus 260, underdog. Mark it down. Connor?
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump on over to the UFC. We'll be a little bit of a company man here. I know as you guys are out at Twin Peaks, you got a little special going on this Saturday for the UFC 313.
Good job.
I'm going to be
You're
taking,
a pro. Teach Jack some of that. How you can intertwine the sponsor with your pick. He's going golf. We're not talking any golf today.
I'm going Justin Gaethje, money line, plus 136. You can get him at a dog value. He was originally going to be fighting Dan Hooker, but a last-second step out by Dan Hooker. He's going to be taking on Rafael Fiziev. And I like Justin Gaethje as the underdog here.
I would too.
Attaboy. And those are our underdogs sponsored by Twin Peaks March Fever Bracket Challenge with conference championships right around the corner starting next week. Time to register for the Dos Equis Million Bracket Challenge. All you do is sign up to TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com. Fill out your bracket. Get that going before March 20th. You can also enter the chance to win $2 million with more epic prizes, including a $50 gift card to Top Bracket every lodge. Make sure you join us. Watch all the action at all 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. Go to our Fan Pick'em contest. That's fanpick'em.com. Enjoy the Bud Light specials throughout the madness.
And neutral. I'm
2 minutes.
forgetting that.
It's
2 minutes.
I'm going to write everything down for you, Anchorman, guys. All right, UFC 313, as Connor mentioned, the epic light heavyweight event will go down. It's on Friday. So it's not a Saturday. It's a Friday fight,
I was corrected yesterday that it is a Saturday.
So it got moved.
So
my numbers were incorrect.
Correct.
Yeah.
I see what I have.
And
March 8th. I'm sorry. I saw Friday night, but it was actually fight night.
Yes.
So I read it wrong, like you two guys always do.
I read it.
We read
just because that's the way you wrote it, and I've been instructed by Manuch. Read it the way I wrote it.
I've been asking you guys. I've been asking Manuch
No.
for 20 minutes or 20 minutes for 20 years doing this. Stop reading it word
Here's
for
the
word.
thing. Thank you, Connor, for correcting us. He's the only UFC guy here. He said, I think it's Saturday the 8th. So we did make the correction prior to the region.
We did.
So, yeah. So you didn't read it. You read it right.
No, I read it wrong, and then Connor corrected me on the air, which I appreciated, and then I continued to read it right.
Attaboy, Jimmy.
Thank you.
So what do you want? You want like a sticker to put on your
1 minute.
refrigerator tonight or something like that?
1 minute.
Anything.
He gets a gold star. Put that bad boy on there.
I don't think that's a gold star moment.
I think it's. What's up? All right, coming up, we'll talk about the business side of sports. Our good buddy Rick Horrow Is he in the United States or is he?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh,
he was
is
in
back?
New Zealand
Yeah.
last week, somewhere abroad. Yeah, New Zealand. He's back. He said he's good to go. So we'll get him his business side, maybe what's going on in the New Zealand way of life.
A quick stat here. Years since the Magic were last on an NBA game on ABC. How many years do you think it's been?
Since
Because they're gonna be on. They made an announcement today on March 16th.
Yeah.
They'll play the
Clear to wrap.
Cavs on
Clear to wrap.
ABC.
Okay.
It's replacing the 76ers and Mavs. Two bad teams.
Yes.
So how many years do you think since the Magic were last on an NBA game on ABC? So a national game on ABC.
National game on ABC, Orlando Magic. I'm trying to think back when they were still pretty decent. I'm going to say 6 years ago.
I'll go 5.
Okay, Jax?
15 years.
Connor, you want to play?
Yeah, I'm going to say it was probably about 7 years or so.
13 is the lucky number.
Wow.
How about that?
They've been bad.
Think about that.
Yeah, they've been bad.
All right, Rick Oro next. It's ESPN 620.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour local Phoenix ESPN 620 Sports Center update live from Twin Peaks, Deer Valley. I'm Jackson Groff. The 5-6 Arizona Diamondbacks face off against the 3-7 Cleveland Guardians tonight at 6:05 p.m. from Goodyear Ballpark. Ryan Nelson takes them out for his second spring training start of the season, while Tanner Beebe makes his spring debut for Cleveland. Meanwhile, the NFL world has been buzzing over major moves the last 24 hours. The Chargers have released a star edge rusher, Joey Bosa. The Jaguars parted ways with wide receiver Christian Kirk, who just got traded to the Houston Texans. And the Seahawks are moving ways with both Tyler Lockett and Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. There are multiple ways to listen to us on ESPN 620 AM, on FM at 98.2 HD2, and always streaming live on ArizonaSports.com. Always search us up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Just search Roc and Manuch.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do?
Do my little boo thing. So I'll give a hoot what you
Time to talk about the business side of sports. Leading expert in the business of sports, author of the new bestseller, The Sport Business,
Making Mike's up.
Power of Sports, and architect of over 100 deals worth billions in sports, the sports professor Rick Horrow joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, the first TGL regular season is in the books over there in Florida. And joining us from Florida is Rick Horrow, the sports professor. Rick, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you grade the first year of the TGL?
Yeah, TLC is how I've professed my love to you for 20, 25 years, even though you changed the theme music. What kind of music is that?
We can play it again.
Okay.
That's some great music.
Good tunes.
Gets you all excited, doesn't it? You ready to go? We'll get Pink Floyd back. We'll get money back. All right. Well,
No, because Pink Floyd is like the symbol of, money in sports for like 4,000 years. So it's better.
Okay.
It's better to do this. No, I'm actually, I'm painfully criticizing you. So I went to the opening of the TGL, and I went to week 2. I think at the end of the day, it has too many supporters to fail, because that's a great sweet time slot for ESPN. It's before the second marquee basketball game of the Tuesday, before March Madness. So before they can have 600 to 800,000 viewers and not call it a failure. They're a TV partner. Tiger and Rory are with it. That said, there are a lot of people who don't like the idea of hitting a ball into a screen 50 yards away and watching that. But especially, when I hit my shots off a little bit, they're in the rough, but they don't fall into a 3,000-foot molten lava pit. It's a very interesting gimmick. Let's call it a gimmick. It's another way to expand golf, which is really important. And I just got back from New Zealand. Thank you very much. I was there for 10 days. And frankly, one of the things that people ask, as far away as that is what do you think of this cool event? Because they show it on Sky and they show it on replay. And as far as international awareness, it's a home run.
Can I ask you real quick about New Zealand? Is rugby, is that number one there?
Well, yeah, but New Zealand has more golf per capita than any other country in the world.
Wow.
The courses are incredible, 400 golf courses, 5.2 million people. And I was there giving some speeches. So from the IRS perspective, rack the part up that says I'm giving speeches. For the rest of the people, about 6 rounds of golf in the most beautiful courses I've ever played. It's like Pebble Beach on steroids, if that's possible.
Wow.
And it was just incredible. The people were nicer than they are anywhere in the U.S., and they are focused on rugby. I was there also to do a little bit of consulting work with an All Blacks rugby stadium that they are attempting to rebuild with Eden Park, the current stadium. Ironically, it's the same time where the All Blacks team lost to an Australian team in Vegas. So it's funny that they're watching rugby in Vegas while I'm there. But it was just it was an amazing experience as a bucket list thing, like Uzbekistan in the summer last year. And in my rapidly advancing age, it's one of those places you go and you realize it's special because you're probably not going again.
Rick, it looks like the ACC has settled with Clemson and Florida State. They've reduced their exit fees, if you will, from $765 to $100 and some million. Looks like Clemson and Florida State will stay with the settlement. Was this basically Clemson and Florida State the tail wagging the dog to force the issue with the ACC?
Well, there were arguments on both sides, legitimate ones, which means if something like that ever gets to a jury, you've already spent millions of dollars in legal fees. And as a lawyer, I can tell you when the legal fees get almost as expensive as the amount they're fighting for, they're going to settle. And college football has enough to worry about, especially with each conference, where it's good to know probably that that's off the checklist. And now we worry about the other big legal issue, which is the settlement of the House case and how much money is actually going to be paid by each athletic department. That's a bigger deal than just the ACC Florida State Clemson issue.
Rick Horrell's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Rick, the big trade in the NBA featured Luka Doncic leaving Dallas and headed to the Los Angeles Lakers. Before that took place, a lot of the ratings for the NBA were really declining. All of a sudden, the interest is back. Is it just that deal or Jimmy Butler to Golden State? Or can you get your finger on it, how all of a sudden interest again is beginning to peak in the NBA?
Combination of those things. And by the way, that was a brilliant question, the way you put that all together. You guys, the guys who are listening and are kind of quiet, your number 2 and number 3 guy, they may be Wally Pipp. This may be the Jimmy B show with a couple of honchos there next to it. That continues to be the right kind of question. So I will answer it by telling you that it's a combination, which is always the brilliant way to answer a question like that. It's heating up. March always ratings are kind of spiking a little bit. You're watching the cool teams of Denver or Cleveland, Oklahoma City, captured the hearts of, let's say, January and February. And now it's time for the big boys to see if they can challenge those two great new surprise teams. But, Jimmy Butler and what he's done at Golden State and that victory streak, Golden State doesn't take much to inspire the brand, especially with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. And then when you look at what the Lakers have done with Luka, I had the benefit, guys, of being in Dallas doing some speaking 3 weeks ago, the Sunday morning after the trade. Honestly, there were memorials with candles saying bye-bye Mavericks on the way from the airport. And, the combination of Kyrie's injury and Luka gone, the rumor of are they going to move to Vegas if gambling referendum fails? That's just hearsay. But it came, meaning the rejuvenated Lakers and Warriors, just at the right time for West Coast basketball. Now let's see if teams in your neck of the woods, in Sacramento and others, can keep up.
So, Rick, okay, so you got the four to 8 teams in the NBA that are viable. How about the rest of them? About the next 22 that seem to struggle year in and year out? I mean, how about those numbers? What's Adam Silver's recipe for that to keep those numbers up, whether it be viewership or whether it be showing up attendance-wise?
Yeah, so it's a good question because it's applying to all sports. I mean, you could fill in the blanks and say, what does Rob Manfred do with the White Sox?
Yep.
What does Roger Goodell do with the Giants and Jets perennially? So you can't manage the teams. You can give them some ability to thrive with a lottery pick. That doesn't always work. One of the teams that stinks will have an amazing year once they get the Cooper Flag ping pong ball, or even the guy from Auburn. And so that helps. But chronic mismanagement.
About 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
You can develop a process to share all kinds of compensatory field leveling revenue opportunities, but you can't manage the money for the teams. And you just got to hope that those teams that are mismanaged kind of luck into something good, or maybe they put their heads together and try to figure out a way out of their malaise.
Last one with Rick Horrow here on ESPN 620 Phoenix. All right, I think you went to undergrad at UNC, and maybe your daughter went to Duke, or your dog's name, I think, is Duke. So what happens on this Saturday when this rivalry takes place? Who do you root for?
Well, first of all, get it at least a little better than you butchered that one.
Okay.
So undergrad at Northwestern, law school at Harvard, one daughter Duke, one daughter North Carolina, dog Duke. So you got it now?
Yeah. I always forget the Northwestern thing. I don't know how you got it.
Yeah. Well, so do I on the football side. Maybe not the basketball side. I think Duke, usually they're one and done, and they are always, maybe if something breaks right, they'll get to the Final Four, and they've done it recently. This may be the best team in the country, and it may be Cooper Flag, it may be the other guys. I think they They handle North Carolina first. They'll handle them again. Yeah, you root for Duke. I could have named my dog North Carolina. That's too big. I could have named my dog Tar Heel. I could have named him Hubert Davis, but I chose to name him Duke.
Or Rock. You could have called him Rock. That'd have been cool. Come here, Rocky.
I don't want to name my dog after a has-been radio host.
Oh wow. Well, what's the guy on CNBC that's the sports
you got the roll clear
guy? Who's that guy?
Clear to wrap.
No, man. That's a friend. It's a cheap shot and an inappropriate one. He's the best in the business. I love you, Rock. Where are you?
Second best, right? Runner up. Buddy, we love you, man.
Right.
Have a great week.
All right. See you next week. Bye.
Rick Coro. You know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Gosh, I can't think of his name.
Sports guy?
Yeah, he's a sports business guy. It's the guy that they go to all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dark hair. You know it. I'll get to the break.
Okay.
If anybody can think of it, let me know. 602-230-0620. Darren Ravel.
Darren Ravel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because he kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
So he gets, he gets a little ticked when you can just tell.
That, yes.
It's like one of his competitors, so he gets a little upset. Hey, we need a contestant to challenge one of the beautiful Twin Peaks girls here at the Deer Valley location. It's called Peaks Picks. It's courtesy of Bud Light and Neutral. We need the fifth caller at 602-230-0620. 230-0620. You're playing for a gift card. The picks, the games will be Nuggets hosting the Suns, Arizona at Kansas, and Texas Tech at ASU. Those are what we're looking at. Coming up a little bit later, Rick Neuheisel will join us. Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B, right here.
We didn't need Casey's mailing address. It was just the email.
Yeah, email. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Is active duty, retired. Is it really seriously look at the VA home loan program? I've done it 3 times now, so I'm a repeat customer. We found a house here that we felt be a great environment for our children
No, I
to
have
grow up
not.
in.
We
It has
don't
been
bite. It'll be
transformational
fun.
to my
I know.
family.
To learn more about VA home loans, visit
VA.com. Watch out for Jimmy. Heads up over there.
Hey, come on.
Are you ready? It's your weekly chance to challenge one of the beautiful girls from Twin Peaks. It's Peaks Picks. The Twin Peaks girls are the essential ingredient to the perfect lodge experience. Each week, our girl next door Twin Peaks contestant takes on an ESPN 620 listener for a 3
Making mics up.
Picks right. Win a $25 man card for one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations: Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale, Tempe, and Deer Valley. Now, time for Peaks Picks.
All right, Casey from Santan Valley is going to compete against Tatum here at the Deer Valley location. Manuch, is Santan Valley like just Chandler?
No,
just say Chandler? Is it like similar to Ahwatukee?
It's way southeast.
No, I know where it is, but is it?
No.
Are you putting your address?
No.
Santan Valley?
No.
Well, then what is it then?
It's about 20 miles southeast of Chandler.
You're missing the point.
You are so missing the point, dude. God, sometimes you
It's
frustrate
called
the hell out of me.
It's basically
No.
Queen Creek, Santan Valley.
Okay, so my point is, on your address, are you saying, okay,
I live in
Casey White, 15 Park Place, Santan Valley, Arizona, 859,
I
or
believe
is
so.
it Chandler, or
No,
is it?
no,
all right,
not
Casey, help us
No,
out,
not
buddy.
Chandler.
Casey,
No way.
I need to know this. Santan Valley is your address. Can you say you put down on there like Phoenix AZ, Santan Valley AZ, or is something else?
It's Santan Valley AZ.
Okay, good. I learned something today.
Because
Is that new? That just
way
happened?
Well, Manuch
southeast.
had no answer.
Well, I just knew Santan Valley's nowhere near
All right,
Chandler. I
all
know
right.
that.
Casey, I'm sorry, but we'll get to the regular scheduled program. All right, let's get to our picks.
No problem.
Tatum is here. Tatum, how long you been at Twin Peaks?
I've been here since October of 2024.
Oh, so you've been here for a little while.
A little, not too long.
Okay, you got into football, and then you got NCAA March Madness. Are you a sports fan at all?
Somewhat. I like baseball and basketball.
Where'd you grow up?
Phoenix.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So we're going to do all basketball today, if you're ready. Okay,
Okay.
You're competing against Casey from Santan Valley.
Okay.
And all right, the first one is the Suns. They play tomorrow night in Denver. They're coming off a win, but they're struggling a little bit. So who do you think's going to win this game?
I think the Nuggets are going to win. I don't think the Suns have had like a good season so far.
You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
you're right on that one.
But Tatum, they got Colin Gillespie
Oh,
playing
he
now.
doesn't know who that is. All right, let's
Yeah.
go, Tatum. Or let's go, Casey. Who do you like in tomorrow's Suns Nuggets game?
Unfortunately, I do like Denver.
Well, no, you're betting.
No,
you're
yeah,
betting with your heart.
Yeah, you're trying to win.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You're betting
Yeah.
with your mind, not with your heart.
All right,
That's
second
it.
game is Arizona is going to play KU in Lawrence on Saturday night. Tatum, which way you leaning, Arizona or KU?
Definitely Arizona.
Okay, all right. Casey in Santan Valley.
I'm going to go out with Arizona as well.
Okay, got it.
It's going to come down to this one with a
Okay.
score, Jimmy.
Here we go. It is Texas Tech at ASU. Casey and Tatum. I need the winner and also a score that we would use as a tiebreaker. Tatum, you first.
I have to say Texas Tech and maybe 85-70.
Okay. All right. That's a good pick. Casey, where are you on this game?
With Arizona, 62 to 68.
You got
62 to 68 or 68 to 62?
68 to 62.
Okay. There you go.
There you
All
go.
right. All right, Casey. Thanks for playing, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Travel. Be careful out there in Santan Valley. All right. So, all right. We'll talk about Santan Valley. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's go back to happy hour starts at 3:00. I got a question. Like draft specials. I know there's draft specials going on.
Mhm.
So there's the big draft, right?
Yep.
The 29. And then
22 ounces.
22. What's the little one called? The little
10
draft.
ounce.
10 ounce. That makes
Yeah.
sense for these two guys. You think
That
they
would-
can handle
I
a 10
think
ounce?
so.
Yeah, it could
I-
be the Jimmy B beer.
Jimmy
Yeah.
B. Jimmy B. would be the 10 ounce.
I can do
right?
10 ounces.
I want the
Yeah.
22, man. So, but hey, thank you for playing, and
Of course.
I'm sure you're enjoying this. This is a great location. This is one of
Yeah.
my favorites here in
Absolutely.
Deer Valley. So
Yeah.
thanks for playing. We'll let you get back to
Thank
work.
you. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Tatum.
That's
Thank
Tatum joining us here. So I didn't think Santan Valley was a thing in the sense of the address. That's my whole
Yeah, I hear
point.
you.
Right, yeah.
And I'm referring to Ahwatukee.
Right, yeah,
Because-
because it's Phoenix.
Yeah, you don't write Ahwatukee on
Right.
that. That's why I
Yep.
thought, okay, Santan Valley. I always thought it was Queen Creek.
Well, for a second there, I thought that too because you look at Queen Creek because it's so far southeast. Then you go another 5 miles southeast of Queen Creek. I thought that initially too, but Santan Valley, actually a city, actually the spot, because Queen Creek and Santan Valley kind of merged together. And
a lot of building going on.
A lot of building.
Oh, it's great out there.
Yeah,
It really is.
It's a lot going on out there.
Jackson, just want to say, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
It was just.
I saw you like nervous over there.
No, I was laughing. I was laughing because I told her, I was like, yeah, the guys are relaxed, they're chill. I was like, you'll get along with them great. And then off the rip, just arguing about Santan Valley. And I was looking at her facial expression. I was like, oh my gosh, hope she's not nervous. But she did great.
She handled it well.
She handled it well.
Yeah, she handled
So,
it well.
are you sticking around after the show? Or?
Oh, I feel like I can't talk to too many Twin Peaks.
You're going to
girls,
make a play here or what?
I feel like I can't.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. There's 5 locations. You're at a different one every Thursday.
Yeah,
you could be dating. I mean, you're
One
dating.
in
dating.
each
Deer
spot,
Valley
yeah,
and
one
Scottsdale
in
are
each
probably
location.
the two top ones.
Rock, what do they call it in the rotation? You get a rotation going there.
Yeah,
Get the rotation going there,
Some
Jack.
call it the circle.
I remember those days.
We all do. I'm just trying to meet all the lovely ladies who love working at Twin Peaks. That's all.
A football at 50. This is an interesting time for the NFL as free agency period
5 minutes.
officially
5
opens
minutes.
on March 12th. And that's when all 32 teams must be under the $279.2 million salary cap.
Yep.
And we're seeing the franchises making all these roster moves now. They're trying to cut down and making all these deals. I mean, we had, 5 franchises yesterday that needed to cut. And that was the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Bills, the Browns, and the Saints for salary cap, to be compliant. This is crazy this time of year, but it's fun.
And I don't think you've seen what's it called on Monday? Legal tampering will start.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a year where they've given permission like DK Metcalf and this guy and now Hendrickson with the Cincinnati Bengals permission to go seek a trade for your agents to go ahead and call other teams. That's why they call it the legal tampering. But that's going to go on from here.
4
and
minutes.
if those trades can work out with the reciprocal team, they're going to have to do it now before the draft, which is April 26th in Green Bay. So I think a lot of that is going to go into motion, but I've never seen, you got permission, or we're going to restructure your contract, or we'll let you go. If nobody picks you up, we might pick you up for a cheaper price as far as your contract is concerned. So when you look at that new cap, Rock, that you brought up, you're like, well, can't they restructure this guy or that guy? Dak Prescott, he restructured his contract. He's going to add $36 million to the cap for the Cowboys. You look at what Deshaun Watson's doing in Cleveland. He needed to do that.
He needed to.
If they want to keep a Myles Garrett, anybody like that.
One of the things that a trade took place, and that was Christian Kirk from the Jaguars. He's now going to play for the Texans.
It's a good move for him.
I think that's a
great
move
for him.
Yeah, he's going to play with C.J. Stroud.
There was a report early in the week that they were going to cut him.
Yes.
So I give them a lot of credit because they got a 7th round pick out of it.
Well,
they got something.
Well, you can
for next year though.
You can put those out there, and that's why they were doing. A lot of guys were putting out there. We may trade Christian Kirk, or he might be one of the guys on the chopping block. They give it that may, and all of a sudden Houston goes or Texas go, oh, wait a second, I think we'd like to have a Christian Kirk. So that those smoke signals that are going out there by these teams, giving this guy a chance to go ahead and seek a trade, or we'll probably have to let so and so go. They put enough out there where their teams are going, oh, okay. Now, remember also, guys, they come off the combine. You had general managers, you had coaches all there talking about, hey, how you looking? What are you looking at? What are some of the things? Well, Christian Kirk's just not getting it done. He's got a big salary. The guys in the Texans might go, you know what? Let's get back to you next week. Let's work something out. In the meantime, Jacksonville puts it out there that Christian Kirk could be one of the guys, the casualties, because of the salary cap.
2 minutes.
I think you got to give the combine a lot of credit with a lot of deals, wink, wink, that are being made at some of those dinners.
But Christian Kirk, of course, local kid,
right?
Saguaro High School.
He's coming off a collarbone. He broke his collarbone. He didn't have a really good year last year.
Right.
379 yards
but
receiving.
But the Jags didn't have a good year either. Tannehill was hurt all the time.
True. It's interesting how he's staying in division.
Yeah, they're going to face him twice.
Yeah,
so that'd be kind of nice.
Trevor Lawrence.
Thank you.
Was hurt all the time. So, he's still a good receiver, outstanding receiver.
I don't know about outstanding.
Well, he's good, pretty receiver when he's healthy, Rock. He's pretty solid, I think he was a little under.
He's a 2.5,
yeah,
3.
Yeah, he's a 2.5, 3.
2.5, 3.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still solid.
When he first signed with the Jacksonville
Yeah,
Jaguars,
great
it kind
year.
of set the wide receiver market. He was a for sure
he did.
one.
Yeah.
And then a guy named Brian Thomas comes in. You could see the difference between those two.
Yeah,
he caught 84 passes his first year.
Yeah,
That's
he's
huge.
1 minute.
He's a kid that I mean,
1
he's
minute.
a good slot guy. I mean,
Good.
he's still
He's
very
a
viable.
good slot guy.
Good slot
Yep.
guy.
Would you
Or what?
moonwalk back and
No,
take your
I think
outstanding wide
he
receiver?
could be an outstanding receiver at that slot position. That's for sure. Catches the ball, runs good routes. Then keeps working
Hey,
hard.
who's going to replace Jimmy Johnson on Fox's #1 show on Sunday? We're going to dive into that. We also got Rick Neuheisel going to join us, the former UCLA, Washington, Colorado head coach, and McClintock alumnus. So he will join us and talk about the state of college football. We're out here at Twin Peaks in Deer Valley. We're excited to have our fan pick'em contest. So it's coming up. We're not too far from the bracket contest with Twin Peaks. Just go to fanpick'em.com, and we're excited to have Bud Light and Neutral on board. Hour 3 is next. This is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2.
Is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a record need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, Rick Coro joined us earlier in the show, and we got into the golf and the TGL, and I didn't have an opportunity to talk to Jimmy B about it because I know, Jimmy, you were big into it.
I watched it.
I did too, and I wasn't really at first into it, but I thought the last couple days when they had Josh Allen there on his bachelor party, and you start seeing what I thought we were going to see earlier was the guys getting into it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, every time I watched it, I didn't get to hear it. I mean, it's always been at a bar.
At a refreshment.
So you can't really, hear it. But I'm hooked. I didn't think I would be, and I am. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
When you made a reference, it got better as it went on. The players relaxed a little more.
Exactly.
I liked it when Tiger was there and his son in the stands was eating chicken fingers, and he walked over while he's playing. Hey, pass me one of those chicken fingers. Well, I want it right now. I'm hungry. So I mean, you had Tom Kim falling down, laughing hysterically on something that took place. I mean, it was entertainment. Look, is it for the hardcore golfer or just your average sports fan? I don't know if that's going to hook just your average sports fan who's just roaming through the dial, but I found it entertaining.
There were so many notable celebrities that were there over the course of it. David Ortiz, Roger Clemens, Trey Turner, Max Scherzer, Luke Weaver. I mean, I could go on and
Serena
on with
Williams
baseball.
was there.
Jerome Bettis, of course, Josh Allen, Dallas Goedert, Sam Darnold, who you just saw, Brady Quinn, Brandon Marshall, so many, Patrick Peterson.
Yep.
You had J.R. Smith. You had so many different celebrities there, and I think that's what draws us into it, and I think that it started a little slow for me, but I like seeing all these, shoot. Eli Manning and Derek Jeter and CeCe Sabathia. I mean, Alex Morgan. I just think they hit a home run with this.
I think
they
that
really
they did. I think ESPN loves it. And maybe the ratings weren't as good as that they were hoping for.
What kind of ratings can you get on a Monday, Tuesday anyway?
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
exactly.
It's
a great time filler for ESPN.
I think the little I watched, didn't watch a lot of it, was the smack talking. I love that. I mean, they brought the locker room to the golf course, or the indoor golf course, if you will. And I got to tell you what, Tiger can hang with any of them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I laughed. I mean, he can hang with any of them. I would love to have those guys mic'd up on a regular tournament tour type of thing. I know they got to watch what they say and how they say, but kind of a mic'd up thing that maybe after the tournament's over, like the National Football League, they do the mic'd up. Then they show you like 3 or 4 days afterward, this is what's said, this is what would happen during the week of that season. That's the interest I have. I watched it a little early on, and you realize some of the pros of some of these, what have you, the Sam that they brought in, that they're just as human as anybody else with some shots. But I had a hard time watching them hit into a screen. I really did.
Yeah, I don't think it would. Well, speaking of that, I mean, I don't know if you saw this last week, but Tiger hits a 99-yard shot.
Yeah.
Only to find out the hole was 199 yards away.
He didn't hear it correctly, yeah.
So
and they were dying laughing when that happened.
Yeah, that I thought was interesting. But I think for the most part it worked. It wasn't perfect. What can they do next? How can they continue taking this thing to another level? I'm very anxious to see if someone's going to step up and basically kind of take this concept and blow it up like a Top Golf or Putting World or something like that.
Try to infuse it around the country.
I mean, because all you really need is that you need the rotating green.
Yes,
that's all you need.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's a very expensive venture, but They're hitting off grass.
Yes.
They're bringing in grass each time.
They do.
So I think it could work here in Phoenix.
The place that we did a remote rock a couple times in Scottsdale, that
Putting
was an
World.
indoor. Yeah. No, not Putting World. Several years ago, there was an indoor place you hit into a screen.
Yes.
Remember we did a couple remotes there?
Yeah.
They were trying to do this. Probably
Everybody
before
has
their
them now.
time.
Everybody has them now. Trevor's, they all have them.
Yeah, I did. So you think if you could take that to a larger venue, like a Putting World, but do it more,
Even
maybe
bigger.
another 100,000 square feet on top of it, that very expensive to put together. If you get the return, the amount of money to open it up, that this would, to your point, popularize
But
it more.
would you pay $100 to play 18 holes there in the summer?
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, you're playing
You're
TPC
indoors.
Stars.
Yeah, you're right. I
on
know.
that
Yeah,
big
you're playing
TGL
great.
screen.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think you could get more.
I would-
I think
I would
you
do
may
that.
be able to get more. You charge $250, $300. It includes a couple beers and something along those lines.
That would be a lot of fun.
But for the summer,
Yeah.
especially out here,
Especially
I
when
think
it's
it would-
118 degrees.
I mean,
Yeah.
Top Golf does so well. I mean, we have 3 of them in the valley.
Yeah.
And then you could have leagues too. You could have league play. I think it'd be a slam dunk.
I
I wonder how
that-
much it costs though to build all that.
Well, if you're looking at what were they in, about 150,000 square foot facility that they were in, maybe not quite that large, but I mean to lay it out
But they
to
had
make sure.
they had seating and
Right.
everything for fans. You wouldn't have
Yeah, you
to
would
do
need
that,
that
here.
But I think that it could grow if you got the right size, get the right marketing strategy, and they say, hey, look, let's go over there on Tuesday night at 7. Let's go play Augusta.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Get a group of guys, to your point. Or,
It'd be
hey,
fun.
the league is going to play, hey, this week we're playing Augusta.
Well, Tiger Woods has that pop stroke. You
Yes.
get into pop stroke, the putting thing. It's like $30. You can get as many holes as you want. There's 2 courses. They
Yep.
bring drinks out on the course. So I think he's been familiar in that type of field where he could do this, incorporate it, and try to make more money to the public.
It'd be fun. You give it a try.
Stephen A. Smith just got paid $100 million for 5 years.
Wow. I mean, he's all over the place.
He's gonna stick to most of his time on First Take on ESPN.
$100 million.
So
That's the
I just wish that
journalist.
show. It's
I
a
know where
good
you're
show
going on
because they
this.
have the topics,
Yeah.
but they need to get they got to get rid of the person in the middle.
The moderator.
They have to.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
so hard to listen to her.
Yeah.
It's
3
terrible
minutes. 3 minutes.
because she tries so hard to be part of it. People aren't tuning in for her. They're tuning in for Stephen A. and whoever else is that.
the guest.
is
It's
sidekick.
funny too because when they always fill in, like maybe she missed a day and they put another girl in, she knows her role.
Yeah.
She knows when to take breaks
But
and not
it's all about her.
incorporate sports content. You got to drive the
And I
show.
wonder if it's because of the world we live in and ESPN and woke and all that, they can't make a change because they'll get crap for it.
It could be. Very well could be. ESPN could be trying to balance it out. Say,
She
hey, look,
probably
we're
has
trying.
a contract as well.
That, that too.
Yeah.
And
so you
but
have to deal with that.
I literally have to turn channel
Yeah,
because when she starts, I don't want all of a sudden I'm going to be on some website because I blast her.
Hey, look.
But it's one of those things where I think it's a bad show because of the moderator. That's all. I just think let them two do their thing and just feed them the topics and let them go.
I think
that's why you watch that show. It's called First Take. We want to hear their takes.
And I think that Stephen A. is strong enough to handle that.
2
coming
minutes.
and going. No
2
problem
minutes.
at all.
$100 million worth.
I think you're right, though. I think it's just kind of they want to incorporate the female perspective. And okay, if she's got something decent to say, and or whoever the moderator is, and you can intertwine that, so be it.
I don't think this is a female thing at all.
No, it's not.
It's not I don't think it has anything to do with females and giving them I just think it's just not a good fit. I mean, I'm sure she could anchor Sports Center and do some other shows that are sideline or
Sure.
what have you. But when it comes to as big a personality Stephen A. is,
Sure,
as well as whoever it's Shannon Sharp or whoever it is,
Right, yep.
just stop.
So
let him go.
If you had a moderator, let's say any moderator, that would. How would you look at their role if they want to keep a female or her?
I would
in
set
their
up,
role?
set up the topics
1
and
minute.
get out of the way.
I would
which is
agree.
What Rock said.
I would agree.
And that is your job, and then get you in and out of break.
Or if you have something to spur the conversation on any more, to go and put them in a direction as far as keeping traffic. So if they get off top or they go one way, is she strong enough? She really hasn't been strong enough to just jump in the middle.
Yeah, like bring up another question.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like there's been times I'm like, okay, we get it, move on, and she'll go on and on to continue. Let's just change it.
And I feel bad. I'm not trying to rip her at all, and this isn't anything personal. I think they had somebody before who was very similar. That just kind of made it more about her.
Yeah.
And maybe this is what ESPN wants, but I think many of us, I think we're all on the same page. You almost have to turn.
The Fox FS1.
Oh, I watch it all the time. Facility and all that.
I do too. The facility, but my problem with the facility, and I think the guys are entertaining, but it's always football.
Clear to rep.
It's always football.
It's kind of their mantra.
Well, I know that. Yeah,
but why would you tune in if they start talking basketball?
I mean, they got football. You
Right? I mean, that's like Speak, the last show of the day, when it's Paul Pierce talking about Brock Purdy. You don't need Brock. You don't even talk about Brock. Not even talking about LeBron and the
I
Lakers.
think we all agree keeping your lane.
Yes.
I mean, I think
why don't
even
they
for
have
us,
a guest on? Like, why don't they have a basketball
when
guest on?
he first came on our
but
show,
it's not football season.
It's
you can talk football year round.
Jimmy, that's why we have football 50.
Yeah,
it's football. It's football at 24 years.
I get that, but they're dedicating all that time just to football talk,
and we're watching.
We're watching. I can only
hallelujah
take so much. Oh, bite me, Manuch.
No, I agree. I agree.
I know.
It's a football show.
I love football. I know.
So
it's
why
a football
can't you
show.
a 1 hour football show?
Why can't you have somebody else that comes in studio, and when there is a hot topic, like an NBA topic, like an NHL topic with Ovechkin,
it's a football
show.
You got Colin Cowherd after. You have the show
I'm just
before
saying.
breakfast ball.
See, while you
Jimmy.
turn off ESPN First Take, I turn that show off.
Okay, it's football. You don't want
There you
football?
go. I like football.
Clear rep.
Don't
But
put words in my
it's
mouth.
It's
I
a
like
football show, Jimmy.
It's like NFL on Fox. It's
Damn.
football. They're not talking about anything else. That's what we're going to get into next.
Football
Who's going
show.
to replace Jimmy Johnson? I have 5. I'm down to 5. And I'd love to get your thoughts next. This is, some days, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
All right, making Mike's hot here. Going to play the Deer Valleys real quick.
It's Thursday, and the guys are live at Twin Peaks Deer Valley, located in the Deer Valley Town Center. Twin Peaks, the home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Jimmy had a few beers last segment.
Damn straight. I liked it, too.
All right, we're out here at Twin Peaks Deer Valley. You just heard the big voice guy here on ESPN 620. Fox already has a pretty crowded full-time cast on Sundays, as we all know. Jimmy Johnson has retired. That leaves Kurt McAfee, Michael Strahan, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jay Glazer, and at times Gronk, Rob Gronkowski. So now they need to replace him. And there are plenty of options. So I decided to put my 5, and let me go through my 5, say a couple things about it, and then I'll give you my pick. And then you guys agree or disagree or what have you. Dan Orlovsky. Okay. I like this guy a lot. I know there's some talk about his contract. No one really knows what's going on. He had been off for a couple weeks. Stephen A. blasted him for flying coach to Hawaii with his whole family. Yep. He could probably use the paycheck then. He's one. I think he breaks down football at a really cool, really high level. All right. Julian Edelman. He seems like he's next in line. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he made my list. They're trying to position him, I think, because his relationship with Tom Brady and Gronk. I think he's kind of had his coming out party in the last couple of years. I think he's done a good job.
And he's not bad on TV.
Yeah. I think a sure bet would be Michael Irvin. I think you can't go wrong with him. We know what we get when we see him, like him or not, but the playmaker. I mean, he's colorful. He's very colorful. And then it comes down to my last 2, and these are my 2.
Okay.
Okay. And Chris Long. Of course, be cool for him to be on with his dad.
Yep.
He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year. He's got a podcast that called the Green Light Podcast that does great. He's been on the panel of Inside the NFL for a year or 2. I think that would be cool. But the guy that I'm going to put in that spot is, I think it has to be a coach, and that's Mike McCarthy. I think he is somebody that he may be a little stiff a little bit, but at first, because he doesn't seem like the guy that's jovial and joking and all that, whereas Jimmy was a punching bag on that show.
Yep.
I don't think he's that, but I think he could bring a lot to it. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. I think that would appeal to the show, and know that, hey, it's only going to be a 1 year. It's going to be transitional. It's similar to coach for the Broncos who did 1 year.
Sean
Payton. You know, so those are my 5, but I in my order is Mike McCarthy, Chris Long, Michael Irvin, Dan Orlovsky, and then Julian Edelman.
All right. Let me ask you a question then, Rock, since you did that, because I like all of those names.
Yeah.
Do you really need another person on that show? You already said it's very crowded. So my situation would be, I would accept the subtraction with Jimmy gone, and I might be more comfortable just with the personnel that I have.
I'm okay with that, but I do think I'm not the X's and O guys like Jax and Manuch. All right,
Right,
you're
yeah.
not a big X and O
Nope,
guy.
that's correct.
But you know the game very,
Yes.
very, very well at high level. However, to have that coach perspective on that set where none of them are coaches,
Correct.
makes sense.
Okay.
Here's how I went.
Right, you have that on their competitor
Sure.
at CBS.
Yeah.
So
Here's how I looked. I listed my 5 too. You talk about the coach situation. John Gruden. John Gruden come out of. He's not coaching anywhere.
I thought he just got hired doing something.
He's with Barstool Sports.
Yeah,
His
Barstool.
content is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to leave there,
yeah.
but it's a good recommendation.
I would love to see him. Former coach. He brings it. He's
it.
wide open. I like him as mine. He'd be my number 1 choice as far as that. Number 2, why not make Gronk full time? Make him full time.
It's. Would you put Pat McAfee on that show?
If he was willing to do something like that, yeah. I mean,
I think it's a different type of style of show. It's
I'm
not
with you.
it's
Yeah.
not,
But
it's Gronk is a
more of an
actor.
entertainer.
Yeah.
From that standpoint.
You already got
him and Gronk. You don't need McAfee.
I like Orlovsky. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I'd have him as my number 3 choice from that standpoint. Number 4, Mark Schlereth. Mark Schlereth, the way he can bring it, very poised.
He's good on the
very
He's on the breakfast ball right now.
Yeah,
but he also does games.
Does a good job. Then last but not least,
and he has a radio show in Denver.
Yeah, last but not least, I have Michael Irvin. I think Irvin would be add a little more. I think he's kind of learned to kind of tone it down, but he could still be. I like the excitement. I like the enthusiasm. But I really like John Gruden as the guy.
I don't think he's available.
Well, he could become available. I mean, he could become whatever.
Barstool is they. Beep, beep,
yeah,
beep,
but
they are.
Yeah. I think he likes what he's doing with himself, his own stuff, being the center of it versus being another side.
I don't think he enjoyed doing Monday Night Football. He didn't seem like he did.
Oh, everything you read about, he loved breaking it down because that guy's a football player. You know, he liked breaking all that.
You don't have that kind of time on this show.
But he can break. I've watched a lot of his vignettes lately. He's breaking stuff down here.
I agree,
and there.
but would you have that kind of time on a pregame show?
Sure, he would. Yeah, Jimmy has a chance to break stuff down if you watch.
4 minutes. 4
he gets
minutes.
into it.
Maybe a minute.
Well, I mean, he's got that credibility.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad. I would love it.
I do lean with Jimmy B though on how they do if they do bring another person, another coach. I think they got to reconsider at least Gronk on that show.
I agree.
Because I think Gronk's probably, we all agree, the weak link on that show.
I agree.
And I think he kind of adds, he's a great personality, but him breaking down football, I don't know, on a television
He
level.
wants to get a solo cup and pounds of beer.
That's what he would want to do.
Is there anyone else missing that we have?
I just thought of a guy, but I don't know what he's doing right now because he's good on TV, but he hasn't been on. But he has been with us. And you guys will remember when we did the big party at the casino and Doug Flutie showed up and hung around for the third quarter before he got up and left.
3
And
minutes.
Great.
3 minutes.
He was doing a lot of Notre Dame.
He did a
stuff
lot
for
of Notre
years,
Dame, yes.
and I think he's just enjoying
kinda,
life.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of tailed back a little bit, but the more I thought about it, and you talked about a guy who could really break things down, he's excellent at that.
Let me throw this out to you. How about Mike Mayock joining the fray? Mayo's expertise.
Is he a big enough name?
Well, I don't, he's a big guy. He was for many years. I mean, he was a general manager. He went from the top draft guru to general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, his name is still very well. He's getting out there more and out and about. But I think the thing I'm looking for is a guy that can, the expertise from either coaching or general manager position. That's kind of the brevity of a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Now, Terry's kind of your, tomfoolery times at times. Howie's pretty serious. Strahan, he can be, he's pretty focused. But I think it's a guy that really can go a little deeper with some of this.
2
stuff.
minutes.
How about in our
2
own
minutes.
backyard? Okay. We're Bonneville, we're ESPN, we're 98.7.
Yeah.
We have the Cardinals. You hear
I
the
know
news of
where
Ron
you're
Wolfley,
going.
who,
Yeah.
I adore, as you guys know, very, very close. Was a radio partner of mine for 5 years. Love the man. And I love listening to him. It's going to be tough to fill his shoes.
Sure.
Granted, there are fans out there that were not fans because of his voice or whatever, and that's just whatever, and you're entitled to that. But the guy that I put on there right away is Kyle Vandenbosch.
Kyle be good.
I mean, I think there's a big list of guys
I asked him that. He was on our show Tuesday, and I asked him that question, and he was pretty straightforward with us, and he's coaching. He's got two kids.
They'll be seniors.
And that's probably one of the reasons why Ron stepped down.
That's correct. Yeah, he won.
But I wonder if there's, in a perfect
1 minute,
world,
1 minute.
in a perfect world,
Yeah.
you put Larry Fitzgerald in there.
If you wanted it. If you wanted it.
That would be a grand slam.
Agreed.
I would, if I'm the Cardinals,
Yeah.
I would try to see even if he's a part-timer, if he's just good, maybe there's usually not three in a booth,
Do a three-man
but you
booth?
do a 3 in a booth like they do on Monday Night Football and stuff like that. You put him in there, see if he likes it. Get him into that. Larry would be perfect.
But you got to want to do that. If he doesn't want to, and then Kyle's got not only these 2 kids, we've got 2 more smaller ones that he's really committed to the family, like Wolf. I can see.
You think about it like a Jake Plummer. You bring back a big name.
A home run.
Then I make it
That'd be a home run.
Jake might be good.
If that's the case, I'm calling Kurt Warner.
Kurt's not going to do it.
No,
Not even
I
close.
know that, but if you
that's why I didn't bring him up. I mean, he's doing Monday night already.
Right, I know, but that would be if you wanted to hit
They
a
can't
home
pay
run.
him enough.
No,
They can't pay
That's
him
it
enough.
right
they
there,
can't.
Rob. He's making way too much money on Sundays and then Monday
clear to
night.
rep.
But
Clear to rep.
if you had an opportunity to talk to Kurt and
Yeah.
say on the side, say,
Yeah.
hey, this travel. You head over to LA. You're doing the NFL Network, and then you got to travel to the Monday night game.
Yep.
Sometimes he's filling in on the Thursday night game. He may say, man, if I could just sit back and do my coaching and do whatever I'm doing, and I could just call a game every week.
Yep.
Maybe that would be the ticket.
Maybe.
I'm sure Cardinals know what they're doing. I'm sure they're knocking on every door. But, obviously, Kurt would be great. Larry Fitzgerald would be a grandson.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think about, some of the other, not Mount Rushmores, but guys, there aren't a lot of big-time Cardinals.
Right? Yeah. Well, Rob Frederickson has been part of the broadcast. Could be
Rob's
another
good.
one of those
I like
guys.
Rob.
I like Rob.
He's done a great job.
It's just
But there are some guys that maybe just want to do the pre and post and, and take that phone
And
call
go home.
after every game. So, all right, Rick Neuheisel. He's going to join us next, coming off an incredible college football season. The spring is here. We're not seeing spring practices, all kinds of crazy stuff. The revenue sharing model. We'll talk to him about everything college football next. Rick Neuheisel here on ESPN 620.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour local Phoenix ESPN 620 Sports Center update live from Twin Peaks, Deer Valley. I'm Jackson Groff. It's a split series tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks who face off against the Cleveland Guardians tonight at 6:05 p.m. from Goodyear Ballpark. Ryan Nelson takes them out for a second spring training start of the season. Alongside him, the Diamondbacks will be playing the Mariners at the Salt River Fields at 6:40 p.m. Merrill Kelly makes his first start of the spring training. Alongside that, there's been a lot of NFL news buzzing around the last 24 hours. The Chargers have released star edge rusher Joey Bosa. The Jaguars have traded wide receiver Christian Kirk to the Houston Texans for a 7th-round pick.
15?
And the Seattle Seahawks have planned to move on from Tyler Lockett, and Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf has also been moving on, requested a trade yesterday. There are multiple ways to listen to us, ESPN 620 AM on 98.7 FM HD2, and always streaming live on ArizonaSports.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
It's Thursday, and the guys are live at Twin Peaks Deer Valley, located in the Deer Valley Town Center. Twin Peaks, the home of the 29-degree beer, served
Making mics up.
frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, coming off an incredible college football season with the Buckeyes taking the title. Now we're in spring, and there's some changes. The biggest, the pending introduction of the revenue-sharing model with the players. That'll begin in the fall. Joining us now to talk everything college football. Proud McClintock alum, former coach, CBS analyst, Rick Neuheisel. Rick, how we doing?
I am doing well, and I know that I'm not letting the cat out of the bag when I tell everybody that the great Dan Manucci is going into the Tempe City Hall of Fame. I just got word on that from Don Bocci, who recruited you to Kansas State, and I'm just sending along my hearty congratulations.
Well, thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate it. I asked them, did they run out of people to put in? I mean, they put me in. I mean, how'd that happen?
All I know is you're in, and you deserve it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Congratulations, my
Honestly, Rick, I've been his partner for 20 years, and this is news. So thank you for sharing that. I can't think of a better person to make that public on our show. So thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I really
wow. Manuch would never tell you. He'd never tell you.
Yeah.
He's so selfless, right? So we just we got to make sure that the world knows that Dan Manucci was a star back in the day, wearing red and blue for the McClintock Chargers.
Well, so, Coach, will there be like buy one get one tickets for tables? How many tables do I need to sell?
Actually, the Manucci family has bought out all the tickets.
Is it BYOB?
That's right. And I will be styling in the red and blue, Rick, just so you know. And speaking of McClintock Chargers, I don't want to age you because you're just a few years behind me. We're celebrating our 50-year class reunion a week from Friday. Not to age or anything, Rick, but Charger Pride will be going strong a week from Friday for 50 years.
It's incredible how fast it goes. Yeah, I'm 29 is my 50th year, and we're heading down the barrel at that. So I hope I'm around in 4 years. But yeah, time goes fast. But the days of McClintock Charger lore live in big time stead with Dan Manucci. That's
thank you. I appreciate that.
Coach, a lot of changes in college football. Let's start with some of these schools deciding, hey, we're not going to do spring practices. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's a shame, but it's a byproduct of just not having any foresight. The powers that be that ran college athletics for some time, and this goes all the way back to 1984 when both Georgia and Oklahoma became the named plaintiffs trying to get their television rights away from the NCAA, saying that each of the schools should own their own television rights. And they won that in the Supreme Court ruling. And then they quickly ceded those rights, gave them away to their respective conferences. And the conferences went out and made deals, and that's exactly where we are. And all of a sudden, as television, and the advertisers realize the gold of athletics because you have to watch it in real time, they realized that this was a absolutely golden goose. And they didn't, as time went on and they started building lavish facilities and, having these stadium renovations that to beat the band and spend all kinds of money on proliferating athletic departments and personnel, they didn't change the numbers for the players. The scholarship didn't go up commensurate with the television revenue. And when that happens, all of a sudden the people who, count dollars started saying, you know what, this isn't right. And that went to another Supreme Court case, this time the Alston case. And that case ends up saying that you can't do this anymore. You have to let the players play. Well, the first thing that they said they could give the players that they hadn't been giving them in the past was their eligibility and their ability to transfer. So they said, okay, you guys can transfer whenever you want, because that didn't cost the NCAA anything. But when you did that and accompanied that with name, image, and likeness, which was the next thing down the pike, now all of a sudden you have a free-for-all because it's absolute free agency. It's anarchy. Anybody can go anywhere for $1. And all these spring practices, when you put your team out there and you have a spring game, which is televised because the television people are paying for it. Now, all of a sudden, any team in the country can watch that and say, I want that left tackle. I want that right guard. I want that wide receiver. And they can get on the phone and call them, and they call it tampering, but no one ever gets turned in for it. And at the end of the day, we have complete lawlessness. And until somebody gets in a room and is forced to start making decisions that are good for the whole rather than just for the team or for the conference, we're going to have this way of life, and we'll see how it turns out.
Rick, the way you laid that out was great, because I hear you talking about all this, and a lot of the young men that I recruit and that I train and trying to get them recruited, it's pretty much the portal, JUCO, and then high school football. No matter how good they are, and they eventually find somewhere in a D2, D3, or NAI, at least they get somewhere.
Yeah.
So the state of college football, what would be your biggest challenge? The way you laid that all out and the way we see things right now, what would be your Rick Neuheisel's biggest challenge as a head coach in college football?
Well, as a head coach, you're recruiting your team constantly.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that you've got a team that, number one, fits the culture of whatever you're trying to get accomplished. But then you're having to make sure that they understand the economics of your team, because you're paying them, and how you go about making this kind of money. You have to also kind of educate their parents or their inner circles.
3 minutes.
Because those parents and inner circles are going to get called all the time by street agents or other schools that are saying, hey, if you come here, we can pay you this. And they have the ability then to just press send in a transfer portal mode when those open up and say, we're leaving and we're going for that. And they have the ability, which is the worst thing in the world, they have the ability during the regular season to stop playing so that they don't waste a year of eligibility after 4 games, after they've shown they're a pretty good player. And because they're going to get calls, hey, if you stop playing right now, we'll give you this much money to come to our place next year. I mean, it's craziness. My best advice is we've got to, if you're the head coach right now, you just got to do a great job of making your place the place to be. That you know what, you don't want to leave. And there are plenty of examples of kids who got offered lots of money and didn't leave. There's a big tackle at North Dakota State that said he was offered, 6 figures to leave, and he said, but I wanted to finish with my guy. Quinyon Mitchell, the corner who was a first-round pick and star for the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, spurned all kinds of offers. As a matter of fact, Nick Saban on national television, sitting there on the ESPN desk, said, we tried to get him in the portal so many different ways, and he just wouldn't go. Well, if that's not tampering, I don't know what that's exactly what that is. He admitted to it, right?
Rick, before we run out of time, I wanted to ask you, because you're going to be in studio, on set for another great season of college football. Is Bill Belichick at North Carolina this coming season, is he the new Deion Sanders at Colorado?
It will be interesting to see, but my guess is no. I don't know that he has the sizzle that Deion does, nor do I know and think that he's got the resources. Mac Brown, the former coach at North Carolina, is a great friend of mine, and there just wasn't a lot of money. Now, if they can try to pay off the investment that Belichick is and make sure that they do give him enough money, then maybe. We'll wait and see. But I think the competition in the ACC right now is a little stiffer than what than Deion faced it in the Big 12. And we'll just I'm going to say no. I think Deion is still going to be the bright light in that competition.
And how much of it, and on top of that, having Lombardi as the GM, which looks like it's going to be a
Clear to start wrapping
thing.
after this.
These GMs out there will help him with that.
Oh,
clear to wrap.
To go be GMs, Dan. I mean, they're paying big money.
Yes,
that Lombardi's making $1.5 million. There's a kid at Alabama who used to be a Los Angeles kind of street agent, Courtney Morgan, who's making $1 million. They just USC just took a guy from Notre Dame. They paying him for 7 figures, and then Notre Dame went the guy from the Detroit Lions. They're all doing it. Jed Fish at Washington went and hired an agent to be his general manager. So it's a crazy world out there. But one thing I will tell you, there will be great college football again in 2025.
Oh, you got that right. Rick, again, thank you for making that announcement public on our
Thank you,
show.
Rick. Yep. Appreciate that.
And we hope we'll
Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Hall of Famer. Don't we have some trumpets or some music in the background here? Hail to the chief or something like that?
we joke about how big his nose is. Now his head is going to be just as big. So
Congratulations again. Moose.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Coming from you, I really appreciate that.
That's the great Rick Neuheisel here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620. We'll talk about that next because I didn't know about this. This is ESPN 620.
This is ridiculous. We're up here walking bench and stuff.
Mics are hot.
Having a blast. Get fun.
Yeah. That's Kyler Murray. Kind of bummed out. Missed playoffs. I think a lot of Cardinal fans would agree with him.
I'd love to hear that he's a little pissed off, a little
Good.
upset.
He said something last year similar too, if I recall. But hey, he's got to. I think a lot of fans want to hear that from their quarterback,
Sure.
right? It's 6 years now. It's like, all right, yeah, maybe the light went off.
Going to year number 7, it's pretty much it's time if you got the right people around you.
All right, that is our Learner Row 1 call. Interact, need a check. make one call. We all know the phone number, 602-977-1900. And always online at learnerrow.com. And their big golf tournament's coming up on April 25th. I need to request that day off, okay?
Oh, I was hoping you'd let me play, too.
Dude, you got to work.
What day of the week is that, right? Is that a
Is
Friday?
it an executive
Friday?
course for Jimmy?
Friday.
Yeah. Imagine you having a Friday off. You know what I'm saying?
Really, yeah.
Friday, I'm on the board. We raise $1 million.
I know you do. I
This
always
is good for the
compliment.
show.
It is. I always
and you guys don't
compliment
know
you.
this, so we are sponsoring one. We're sponsoring something. So
Okay.
I just signed off on them.
Okay.
We're doing Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B playing cards as one of
Nice.
the key prizes.
Very nice.
Yes, I think you guys will like them when they're done. So just imagine with our cartoon characters on all of them. So we'll have some fun. Hey, what's on tap tonight? Brought to you by the Roc and Manuch Lager, brewed by Dos Equis. You got a split squad game tonight with the Diamondbacks, but we got baseball on TV.
Hallelujah.
How great. As if you got Cox, it will be on 34. D-backs TV, Mariners at Salt River, and then half the team will be at the Guardians in Goodyear against shoot. I had to think about that twice. Yeah, Indians.
Yeah.
Indians, Guardians,
Guardian, you're
Cincinnati
good.
Reds. Yeah, Goodyear. Okay.
Whatever
let
comes
me
to mind.
ask you a quick question on baseball, okay? Because you were with the Thunderbirds. And
No, I was with the Firebirds.
Firebirds,
Yeah.
excuse me, the Firebirds. And even though it was AAA, you were in spring training.
Yep.
So how did you do things when it was split squad? Was your job 10 times more difficult because you had players at one site and then players at another site?
No, that's a PR guy. It wasn't
It
like
didn't
that at
mean
all.
that much to you?
What I'm doing at that time of the year is we're trying to figure out what our roster is going to be.
Okay.
The AAA roster.
Okay.
So, but it Major League Baseball is everything, and that's when they're taking their pictures and I was responsible for building the media guide and helping with the game program and all
Okay.
that, trying to build our roster. What's that going to be? But it's basically, all right, let's get the 40-man,
Yeah.
and then they tell us, okay, here's your 40, or here's your roster, I should say, the guys that are going to be on your team at AAA and then AA and single A and all that stuff. So, it was a great experience. 3 years I did it to be part of, the Giants organization and how, they did business. And their GM at the time was Bobby Evans, and he did a tremendous job. And it just was, it was a lot of fun. But it was also a pain in the ass because you're trying to put your roster together. You have an opening day on April whatever,
Right.
and you don't know who your guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, until last minute, you're at Blue Line and you're waiting to kind of get these things to print. And back then, that was a big deal. There was no websites. It was
Exactly.
all,
Yeah.
you're building these game programs and these media guides and game notes. It was great.
Who was the skipper for those teams?
I had Coach
Trying to think.
Dwayne Espy was one.
Okay.
Then Alfonso was another, and I can't think of the other one. So they changed all the time.
Who's the most prominent player that moved on from the AAA from the?
I don't know
Firebirds?
about. I can tell you who did the biggest rehab assignment.
Okay.
Daryl Strawberry, I had to work
Oh,
with.
wow. Okay.
So he came down. He signed with the San Francisco Giants, and I got to work with him. And there are a lot of guys that come down for a couple starts, but when it comes to somebody getting
Rehab, completely
getting
rehab,
called up from AAA, because AAA weren't the best players. AA were the best
Yeah.
players.
Yes.
These are guys because of contracts or whatever. And there were a couple guys. There were some really likable guys. I think many people that knew the Firebirds, Dax Jones was a guy that
Jones,
everybody loved
The dude.
because he was kind of the face.
Okay.
I think Rich Aurelia, who
Oh, I
played,
remember him,
he's
yeah.
still here in the Valley. He went on. I think he's doing TV for San Francisco. A couple guys like that, Brock Purdy's dad.
Yeah,
Sean
Sean
was
Purdy.
a
Yep.
Phoenix Firebird.
That's right.
So
That's right.
anyway, so that also tonight, 7:00, Utah State is at Grand Canyon Senior Night.
Utah
That's
Tech.
Utah Tech. What did I say?
Utah State.
Oh,
That's right.
geez, okay,
That's all right.
Utah Tech.
Yep.
Is here taking on
That's
Grand Canyon.
Connor's alma mater, by the way.
Hell yeah, it is, Rock. Put some respect on those Trailblazers.
I am so sorry.
Our 4-win season.
Oh, my goodness.
Are the checks clearing back there, big fella?
Hey, our State 48 Roofing, it's your call question today. By the way, we got some rain. If you have any issues with your roof, Go to stay48roofing.com. They are the #1 referred roofer in the state of Arizona. Out of the 4 major sports, what would you want to physically play the most? Of course, the 4 majors: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. Depends on the position, though.
Well, you can play any position. Yeah, which sport? You
I mean,
can
the
play.
easiest is NFL, probably.
Yeah, right.
I would probably say NBA because it's the shortest season. You could do load management. You have to do. You play 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You make millions.
Yep, make a lot of money.
Baseball is too long. Man, I can tell you that just as a PR guy.
Yep.
NHL, those are badasses.
They're
That's the hardest sport to play. The biggest badass guys.
Yep.
NFL, probably NFL or NBA.
Well, I can tell you right now what the peeps have said. The NFL, 28.6%. The NBA, 28.6%.
Wow.
Major League Baseball, 14.3%. And the NHL, 28.6%.
So three-way tie?
Three-way tie, NFL, NBA,
let me vote real quick.
NHL.
Go ahead. Get you in there. Jax, which way you leaning? Is it football? Which way you leaning? NBA? I mean, Rock brings a good point. You paid a lot of money, NBA. Don't do a whole lot of nothing.
NFL.
Yeah, I got NFL as well, too.
I mean, we all would love an NFL, but also, let me be a long snapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whatever you
punter,
think.
kicker. I mean, I want to be a kicker, but
I
the best job is clearly a third-string quarterback.
Oh,
and I'll take it all day long.
I mean, why not? You don't do
seriously.
anything.
Yeah,
you
hold
get
the
to golf.
clipboard.
You wear a clipboard, a hat. It's
you just.
But NBA, it's got to be the
It's
easiest.
got to be NBA.
Yeah.
Got to be.
What'd you pick?
I went NBA.
What would
Just
you play?
For some of the, I play point guard. So I went for the same reasons that Rock just laid out. Because of load management, the money is sensational.
Yeah.
It's a highly publicized league that promotes its players, which means that leads to extra deals as far as marketing, radio, television.
And if you're half of an athlete, play a little defense,
Yeah.
pass the ball.
That's it.
What else do
Yeah,
they do?
you're good.
Defense in the NBA? Seriously? I didn't realize there was defense anymore in the NBA.
Well, so is there defense in the NCAA?
Well, as far as football,
3 minutes.
Maybe not Arizona State the other night.
Hey, that was one of the cleanest, highest scoring games with age.
Nobody played defense.
Nobody played defense. Well, the guys you looked at both teams were shooting close to 50% from three-point land, and total field goal percentage was close to 50%. I mean, and clean game. Wasn't anybody getting chippy with that game. So, Devils last game of the year. U of A taking on K-Who.
Real quick random fact of the day. A 18-year-old kid from Utah. His name is Luke Herbert. He quits baseball because he was diagnosed with some type of immune disease. So he decided, I'm going to switch gears. He became the first kid from Utah to get a scholarship for cornhole.
Really?
Wait, what? Cornhole
Yeah, he's going to play
scholarship?
for Winthrop, which is there in South Carolina.
It is
Fort
in South-
Mill.
yeah, it is.
It's about 5 minutes from where my parents live.
Yep.
And that is you ever watch cornhole on
I've
ESPN?
seen it, yeah.
That's where they're
2
at.
minutes.
Wow.
2 minutes.
I think it's Fort Mills. Yeah.
Wow. By the way, Mike Budenholzer, the coach of the Suns, had his news conference today. Manuch, you may want to not listen to this.
Not going to start calling?
He was asked if Gillespie was going to start. He started laughing and said, no, he's not starting.
It's sad that we have to gravitate
I know.
to this.
I know.
We're looking for any positivity. I mean, hey, we found out today that Kevin Durant's dating Angel Reese. That's something fun to talk about.
Yeah, that was fun.
So did Coach Bud say he'd be in that closing time in the fourth quarter?
He said he's going to try to find minutes for him to play.
Then Tyus, hey, maybe there's a shot across the bow for Tyus Jones. Hey, look, Tyus, get your game together. It's going to be tough to beat Denver in Denver.
So
no
we found out today, too, as we close shop today, that Manuch is going into the Tempe Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
And
that.
I am sure you've already written your speech, haven't you? and are they going to give you a time limit?
I think I've got 5 minutes.
Are you
50 seconds.
Yeah.
All right.
I can do 5 minutes.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
I bet you would love 15.
Yeah, when I made the Major Community Hall of Fame, they gave me 5 minutes. Flint Talk Hall
Did you
of
go
Fame.
right to the 5?
Oh, right up against it.
Do you have a canned speech?
I've got a pretty good speech plan. Yeah, I got a pretty good speech plan. I've got it right there. Just got to mark it down.
Well, we love you. We're glad.
30 seconds.
Thank you, guys.
We are out here, and we are finishing up at Twin Peaks. By the way, we are doing our fan pick'em, brought to you by Bud Light and Neutral. So get on board on that. Fanpick'em.com for our bracket contest with them. Every Thursday, we're at a different Twin Peaks, so we appreciate them having us here today. Tomorrow, right? Toyota at 1 o'clock. Manuch, who's going to be on the show?
Chris Dobertine, little bracketology, Scott Spreitzer, and also Tyler Shuck will join us. Quarterback.
Really? Good.
Yeah. Tyler.